Good evening, weird folks in the world, and how is everyone all around the big planet? This show, The Centralist, goes out pretty much to about 100, 120 countries. I mean, it's a show about mostly New Orleans, mostly about U.S. news. I mean, we do talk about things abroad, like we will touch on the Ukraine tonight and some of the crazy shit that's been going on over there. But there's so much interesting, fun, and yet stupid stuff going on in the country. So before I introduce Michael Angley, which y'all know who he is, before I introduce him, so I'm driving home today, la 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 la, lots pouring down rain and lightning, flooding and all over the place. And I hear this news clip on Newsy of all places about no, what Newsy, I forgot what. Anyway, so they got Biden saying why he ran, why he got into politics, not why he ran for president, but why he got into politics. He gave 14 different explanations over 10 years, and just in the last year, he gave 7. Well, like the lady said, either the man's a liar or he's confused or, he just doesn't have his faculties anymore. But
The decline, I'll tell you, Joe, the decline of this president is sad. Sad for his whole family around him that they're letting this happen. Sad for our country. Sad for the White House. I mean, he barely even knows where he is. I'm sure sometimes he doesn't. He'll stop in mid-sentence and stammer and just he's reading off these cue cards and they're reading off of other cards that actually tell him when to sit, when to talk, and whatever. It's kind of like a robot, a weird old pathetic senile robot, man.
Well,
and it's disgusting.
Who's writing him cards is what scares me. Who the hell is this?
The people who are pulling his chain. I mean, his masters. He's not in control. His masters are in control. And you can lead that back to Nancy Pelosi, but then there's the big money people behind her. Behind the rest of these politicians. That's messed up.
Sometimes he sounds like he has his faculties together, and sometimes he sounds like he's on a whole different planet.
Depends how many drugs they pump him up with. Can you imagine what they give him before he goes out on stage? How many stimulants?
The country got what they deserve because the guy ran out of his basement. I mean, he ran for president out of his basement. That'd be like some. I don't want to say this because I might get in trouble because I'm going to Dragon Con this year. But anyway, it would just be like some nutter who ran in their basement in their mama's basement and became president. I mean, it's horribly scary. Hey, Jay, what's up? This is Jay in with us.
Hey, guys.
Hey, it's Uncle Jay. What you doing, baby?
Just finishing laundry.
Yeah, it's Jeffrey tortured y'all all night. Who y'all had on?
No, we actually had a pretty good show. Jerry Sargent, he's like healing people with starlight and quartz pyramids. It was a really fascinating show.
Good, he can heal Michael. But no, we were just talking about our famous, our lovely and sweet and humorous president who we all love and worship and give him the good salute. What do you think? You think he's going to run in 2024? How's his job? If you had to rate him from 1 to 100, where would you put him?
Biden?
Yeah.
-10.
I heard somebody's cat say 25.
But Bill doesn't know politics.
Bill, so he gave him 25. Michael, where? No, I ain't even going to ask Michael. Michael's going to put him on Mars somewhere. It's I'm
not going to put him in at all. I think the Democrats are looking for somebody else.
If I was a Democrat, I'd be looking for somebody else.
If Cuomo didn't grab those women, he'd be a contender. Because he's nasty and obnoxious and scary.
He would be a good contender too. But
you don't even want to debate that guy. Have you ever looked at Cuomo's face, really looked at it? It's scary.
He's weird enough,
isn't it?
I thought it's a demon. I would say he reminds me of those old gargoyles. In New York City, you get the gargoyles on the buildings, man. That's Cuomo. But Democrats, they can't use Kamala. If they pass her up, she's going to be pissed off. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of stuck. They chose her not because of her abilities. They chose her because of ethnicity and what she represents ultimately. Even though she doesn't represent any black people in the United States of America because her father's Jamaican and her mother's from India. So again, just like Obama, no roots to black people who came to the United States of America as slaves, no roots. So
no connection.
And black people know that. They know that being shortchanged with that what do they call that? Light coffee? Something like that.
Might as well just thrown off the damn
cappuccino.
Cappuccino, yeah, mulatto. There's all kinds of words.
Black people aren't stupid, and they've been taken advantage of and held down too long by the same group that says they're trying to lift them up. Is the Democrats, but yet people believe the lie. People believe the BS. But Kamala Harris, she's no contender. So they're gonna have to pass her up, and then Hillary's talking about running again. How's that?
Oh, please,
Put
Hillary,
that in your
run.
pipe. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Say, Hillary, run, please. Why can't I download these?
If she wins, it's a shoo-in for any Republican candidate that goes. So,
well, I don't think that Democrats are going to take it no matter what. I think that they've shown their hand to people. The liberal, that headline I just read earlier, we weren't on the air at that point. But here it is, patriotic at the pump. White House says you should pay higher gas prices to ensure the liberal world order. And so this is coming from the White House. This is the National Economic Council Director, Brian Deese. He made those comments on CNN. So this is their agenda. And if you think it's not, that people are wrong. They have an agenda of drive down people to the lowest possible level so they have nothing, and then throw a bone down and watch them fight over it. So that's the robber baron mentality, and that's been this mentality. Under Trump, people were prosperous. 93% of the country said they wouldn't change a thing, including Democrats.
mm-hmm.
So think about that. But they bought the show, and they got the show. They lied, cheated, and stole this whole thing, and now they're stuck with it. They thought they were going to have smooth sailing, and it's not. And COVID is back with a vengeance. You have this B4, B5 variants who have gotten together, going right past people's immune system, and now we're starting to see the wave. So there's important things happening, and this government, oh God, they don't have an answer for anything. There's a crisis in every area. They don't have an answer for anything, right? How's life in Pennsylvania, Jay?
We're approaching 5. It's $4.99, $4.89, $4.99. It goes up and down, but I think by the end of the year, maybe even sooner, it's going to be $6 a gallon. And then with that, that's that mentality you're talking about, how they're saying we need to pay more at the pub to be prosperous. I don't understand that. It's going to drive things up. I mean, gas is $6 a gallon. What's that going to do? Milk, $6 a gallon. Beer is going to be $6 a can. $6 for a 12-ounce can of beer. Everything that transports through this country by gasoline-powered vehicles is going to double, triple, quadruple in price as the gas goes higher and higher and higher.
Wait till fall.
Not good.
Wait till fall when people have to put their heat on, and then they're looking to diesel for trucks or diesel for home heating oil. I mean, which is it going to be? Because they're saying there's going to be limited supplies. It seems like a disaster. Like we're getting set up for a disaster.
It is. I mean, where I am here in Hagerstown, Maryland, which is where I work, very close, about half an hour away from here. All of the houses up here are so old that most of them are either wood burning stoves for heat or oil. Yeah. And, the oil companies, if you buy a house with an oil burning furnace, whether you buy it in the summertime or you buy it in the wintertime, you can't buy the house without filling that tank up all the way to the top. They won't let you buy the house if you don't do that. Yeah. So those people are going to be screwed. It's going to be, I don't know what they pay for heating oil right now, but it was expensive last year, even under Trump, before everything was changed by Biden. It's not going to look good. There's going to be a lot of frozen to death people in this country that can't afford the oil to warm their houses.
Yeah, they don't care either. The government, the politicians that they say they do, they so don't. I'm 55 years old. I've never seen them care about anything except money, votes, money. Votes to them is money. They get to lie, cheat, and steal once they're in there. And I don't know anybody who's good. Name some politicians who are actually thoughtful, representative type of people.
They're probably all dead now. Washington, Jefferson, Madison. They're all dead.
What do you think of DeSantis in Florida?
I think he's okay. I mean, I don't live in Florida, so I can't really say.
Go Florida.
But
Go Florida.
He's pretty good.
Joe wants to live in Florida. He's looking at places, man. He wants to wrestle alligators down there.
Look, man, I spend so much time in Florida. It's not even funny. Literally, it's only an hour and a half from where I live. So Pensacola is anyway. It's we do spend a lot of time down there. So first off, to all my Yankee friends, just to prove that us Southerners have buried the hatchet, if you're freezing your Gagunas off this winter, I live in the deep South along the coastal line where it's always nice, and even in January there can be a warm breeze blowing of 60 or 70 degrees. So bring your tent down. I'll set you up. You can pop up and stay right there until a thaw comes.
Well, did you see the map of the solar storms that are coming? That they're saying that it's going to affect most of the country except for
Oh,
the
I better get my
south.
solar panels up there.
The
Damn.
South, Texas, I think Arizona escaped, and the rest of it's going to be all blacked out, man, from solar storms. What do you think of that?
That means turn off your damn electricity so you don't blow out all your electronics.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if they don't warn you ahead of time, it'll wipe out your electronics. A big one will anyway. I've only ever seen it one time when I was on a Navy ship when that happened. We went what they call it going dark, and this ship was just cruising along. I can't tell you how fast it was because it's classified, but we just went dead. Everything turned off, and we're just still cruising along. Till the storm passed, and then boom.
What were you on, a submarine?
No, I was on the USS Nimitz.
Okay.
I used to work on Old Salty. Somebody said, "Oh, Old Salty's the Nimitz." I said, "No. You see, if you were on the ship, you'd know what Old Salty was. It was the reactor." Yeah, I had a good time on Nimitz, man. I mean, I had a good time serving. It wasn't a horrible thing for me, like it was for some people. I enjoyed being on board ship, but I had good jobs. I liked what I did. I was a plane captain, certified advanced electronics avionics. So I got the run of the ship. I got to be in the reactor room, the timing tower, any plane I wanted to be on. I could touch any equipment I wanted to. Class 10 security clearance, which means nothing was off limits to me. So I had a good time. But I can see why people hate it. Yeah.
There's a lot of those fun boys in the Navy, though,
hey,
man.
squishy, baby.
The USSKY, you gotta watch out for them.
Usually those get tossed over. It's funny you said that because this poor guy. Quick story, because I don't want to get off topic, but this poor guy. I remember it was like week 4, week 5, and no, it was week 4 because week 5 I took over. Anyway, I turned around and looked. This guy's just standing in a doorway. And a couple of the other guys were looking. He'd just been standing there watching us taking a shower. Because, it's 80 guys in 2 showers. I mean, 2 rooms. And everybody's in there taking a shower. So everybody, keeps their eyes wherever they keep their eyes. And this guy kept staring. So something happened and somebody found out he was gay. So I still remember I saw some roving patrols, which is around the base. And I was coming through the quarters for some reason. We were cutting through, actually. And they had his ass tied down, beating the crap out of him. So they take their little bags that you keep all your shit in, and they put some soap in it and roll it up, and everybody takes about 10, 15 shots on his chest or his stomach. That motherfucker was bruised from here to here the next day. And he resigned. But then we found out that that was his 4th branch he had been in. He'd been kicked out of 3 others because back then, sorry guys, it was illegal to be gay back in the day. I was on duty, so I didn't have to worry, but I just couldn't report it because it would have happened to me the next day.
I would have gone Navy SEAL on all those guys, man. You know what I mean? They're gonna try to hurt me. That ain't gonna happen. I'm from New York City.
Your ass would have been stuck because you're 6'5". The beds are only 6 foot, so Mike's feet would have been hanging. He couldn't even got up. It's been like having
those
things
guys
around
would
his
have
feet.
Disappeared. Hey, what happened to Ensign Elmers? I don't know.
But it tells you though. It tells you the mentality of that kind of stuff in boot camp and what
Walk
goes
the
on.
plank.
That's none of that should ever go on.
Military is just all about taking orders, man. Bad enough people get married; they got to deal with that. The military,
but they pump you up to hurt people. That's part of it. That's part of what they do. But anyway, getting back to the news. So let's talk about this testimony for the Jan 6 committee. What's this woman's name? I'll have to go find it. But
Nancy Piglos.
Nancy Piglos is not her.
You know what I have to say, man? I used to be very middle of the road, and these people have driven me so far right, just to feel some kind of balance. I don't think and I'm not the only one. I don't think that these Democrats even understand what the damage they're doing to themselves. They don't listen to criticism. They don't listen to any of that stuff. They're in their own world, like a hyped up fantasy land. But I'll tell you, you're going to see landslides. We're already seeing Republicans being voted in, and I love that Latina women are representing the Republican Party finally. I love that
it's going to make a difference too.
Republican Party, and these are very level, down to earth, family type of people who want safety in their lives.
Oh, you mean they're not like AOC? Oh, come on, you love you some AOC.
Handpicked at 10,000 people by the Democrats, and they, she never really ran. I mean, she. They kind of just put her in place, and that was it. I think someone tried to run against her last time, but they couldn't manage the votes in a very heavy Democratic area.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes this time. I mean, they've been saying a lot of stuff. We'll see this time. But anyway, So let's talk about Cassidy Hutchinson. So I'm confused about this whole thing. So this woman out of nowhere, she call Nancy Pelosi or the committee and say, "Hey, look, I was there Jan 6th," or did they connect with her? Because I know while she was still working for Trump, she's never said anything. But after she got her walking papers, that seemed to be when she decided to come out and say something. So I'm a little confused about what actually went on there. So she goes there, she testifies. Man, I'm listening to testimony. I'm going, wow, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I'm thinking the whole time, oh well, we got to remember the Russia thing, and we got to remember all these women said, and everything turned out to be BS. So let's just wait and see where this goes. So I'm listening to her, and I'm like, wow, Trump was crazy enough to grab hold to a Secret Service guy. He's lucky his wrist didn't get broke. I mean, out of reflex, if he grabbed me like that, I would have twisted his wrist around, had his head down. It would have just been a bad scene all the way around. And then here comes the two Secret Service guys saying, well, no, none of that happened. None of what she said happened in the car. Nothing. So right off the bat, there's a big exaggeration right there. And then somebody else came out and said, no, that's not what was said. Now, I don't know what this other guy is going to say that worked for Trump, but so far she's batting zero.
Well, the Secret Service isn't allowed to testify against the president in any way, shape, or form. They take all kinds of oaths against that. If he stuck a knife in the guy's ribs, the guy wouldn't be able to say it. You know what I mean? Until his service was done. So even then, after service, they still can't say it. So I don't think you're gonna get much out of them. The girl, yeah, she didn't seem truthful. Do I think Trump had a conniption?
Oh yeah, I think he did.
Oh yeah, for sure. Do I think that he actually put the guy in a stranglehold and went for his throat and all this other stuff they described? No, I don't even think he could have fit from the back to the front.
I agree. I don't think his fat ass would have made it either. Actually, if anybody said
like
that,
Winnie the Pooh, man.
but I mean, if anybody went over the board and testified on that, I'd say, okay, let's put it to the test. Let's see if Mr. Trump can reach from way back in that SUV, get in between the two high raised back seats, and get over the seat to grab somebody. I'd actually pay money to see that. I'm not even going to lie.
I don't think he's agile enough to do it, to be honest with you. And he's a big dude. What is he, 263? He's not jumping around the car like some little kid.
You're worth $1. Some pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Now we got witnesses share messages from Trump world before testimony urging
they're blowing smoke because things are so bad. They have to focus on nonsensical things. You notice that January 6th committee doesn't say anything about burning down police stations and riots that had happened in the years prior. Robbing these stores, hurting people, killing people, raping people, all the other stuff that went on from these so-called protesters. They don't say a word about that. Or how about in Seattle when they took over a whole bunch of blocks and with guns and wouldn't let people in or out? This is the liberal mentality. This is what they're willing to tolerate and put people through. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people in this country that have had it. They've had it. They're at the tipping point where they're not going to be pushed anymore into this negative direction. It's dangerous, man. The morale is very low, and it feels like a powder keg. Wait till the fall when the prices are super high and people can't afford heating oil and they're going to freeze their asses off. Wait till the fall. I'll be down there with you, Joe, getting some shrimp. We're going to be on the bayou.
So on the bayou, I want to be you.
Mike J and Joe's alligator hunt show.
So let me ask you something for all my Democratic friends listening tonight, because y'all know I'm in the middle. I don't really care about a lot of this. But
Joe's in the middle.
It's hey, the middle best place to be.
Middle finger.
Middle best. Hey, you always want to be the stuffing in the Oreo, man. But anyway, we'll talk about why later in the show.
That's very, very sexual and provocative.
Stop distracting me from what I'm trying to say, damn it. Oh, Jesus. These are things I got to put up with, people. The abuse I take. It's just, and then I got to look down and see Rachel Mad Cow Maddow's face looking up at me. I mean, it's just not good.
Now that's frightening. That guy is frightening.
A serious question for everybody listening tonight. Have the Democrats sold out Roe versus Wade for Jan 6? Because I hear far more Jan 6 news than I do Roe versus Wade. I hear Roe versus Wade tucked in this news reporter. This group's doing that or that group's doing this. But January 6th is just nonstop. It's like the Russian thing.
There's nothing they can do or say. It's the Supreme Court. They're not politicians. They're judges. They voted this way, and that's it. Unless they flood the court with more judges, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen. That would take a long time anyway. And then this would be the funny thing, right? They approve a whole bunch of more judges for the Supreme Court, and then a Republican gets voted in, right? Who's going to end up like appointing 5 or 6 more Republican judges? That's funny. That's funny. In the world of
they're going to probably approve like 15 of them. See, that's the thing. Right now, they should be a thing in Congress that says 9 is the maximum amount of judges we can have. Or, it always has to be odd. You can only be raised if the popular relation raises it by like 100 million or something. But right now, I mean,
I think Judge Judy should be in there, man. I like her.
So I've been seeing all.
You don't like her? She's very conservative, man.
She's very crazy.
She's an actor. She's not. She's no longer a legitimate judge. She does all that stuff on TV just for.
Well, I'm saying that she was
Judge
a judge
Janine,
in New York
man.
City.
Yeah.
But what was funny about her when this feminist magazine approached her, how do you feel about being this female judge, famous female judge? And she said, I never thought of myself as a female judge. I only thought of myself as a judge. I like that answer, and it shows her mentality. She's also somebody who's not in the BS, But it was their own judges, who didn't retire, these liberals under Obama when they could have, and he could have appointed people who were going to live longer. But these guys, their egos stand in the way. That's it. They hang in there like the Pope,
Yeah, and I don't even think they can stand down, can they? They have to stay in there till they're dead.
Yeah, no, they can resign.
Oh, they can? Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, they can definitely stay in there. They can resign or they can die, whatever comes first.
Yeah. It's the only branch of government where people have a lifetime role. I mean, there's something really awkward about that and not right. Because if someone's bad, if someone who is, just a bad judge, I mean, somebody who's just not good, or even criminality, something like that, you can't get rid of them. It's like nearly impossible. So, and they make a lot of bad decisions. They make a lot of stupid decisions too. But right now, you see a lot of liberal stuff. Like I said last show, it's like the Wrath of Khan, where that dude kind of launched a missile, and you destroy the dude, but the missile's still active, man, and that's it. Now you're seeing the gun laws. I love it. I know, Jay, you love your guns. Joe, you love your guns. All three.
I love my guns. So look, so all day yesterday, most of the day, all the news media were reporting that the Secret Service said that that's not true. All of a sudden, CNN says, "Oh no, we have a story that bolsters what she said." But I love how they do it. Where it is, it says, "Wait, hold on, where is it? I want to read this part." So it said the two circuit, but anyway, it says not immediately verified by CNN or MSNBC that this is what happened. I'm like, no. So you wrote a story because all the other medias have said no. The Secret Service said it didn't happen, which is what they're still saying. But here's CNN, and this is how desperate they are. I mean, CNN and NBC especially, you should be ashamed of yourself. CNN has long sold out to the dogs. I mean, really. I mean, CNN used to be this shining light of news reporting, and then it became this shithole.
You're talking about a dog that licks its own balls. You know what I mean? Like
that's CNN. Oh well, no, that's MSNBC.
And they'll do it right in front of everybody in the room because they have.
But then so MSNBC decides, I guess they're going to sell out too. I mean, people. You're supposed to be for the people. You're not supposed to be for the politicians.
No, they know who they're playing to. Come on, man. You're in the media. You know.
I know,
they know who they're playing to. The people who are tuning in want to hear all that stuff, the crap they're saying. They don't want to hear the news. If you want the news,
they don't hear the truth about anything. They don't hear the truth about anything.
They're selling you their opinions. Period. This is what you watch you watch the shows, you watch the news, or the fake news, MSNBC, whatever, Fox. And you watch those commercials they put out, which they're making millions of dollars off of, just so you can form your opinion and match theirs. That's really what it is.
They hate bait. They race bait. They play the game. They get people angry at each other. They get people hating each other. CNN did this terrible story about something that happened. Happened to African Americans many years ago, in this country. Like a lot of terrible things happened to them. But why? Why put it out there now? We know the history. We know what happened. We know it was terrible. It gets people so angry that they want to go out and hurt somebody, and I think that these guys get off on that. I think that these people, it's fake media. It's self-outrage media, right? It's not real news.
It's like the troubled kid in the movie theater that yells fire and makes everybody run out of the theater. It's sensationalism. It's scare tactics.
It's not a protected form of free speech, but CNN can sit there and bold-faced lie, and also try to politically correct, manage people's lives and program their thinking, further, like commercials do. Commercials that are very PC oriented, politically motivated, and they're all wrong. They're all wrong. They depict Americans completely wrong, in these commercials. But it's always what people want. And that's what they're selling. The people in the beautiful home that have all the nice things. Oh, look, they have M&Ms on the table, but you live in this rat hole, shithole, and then you can buy M&Ms too. You know what I mean? It's identification that you feel like you're going to a higher level. They know that the first people in advertising were the ones who ran the propaganda in World War II, and they knew exactly how to get to people. Now they have psychiatrists on these advertising boards. They come up with stuff that's mentally penetrating, should be illegal. Because it's a way, what's the difference between that and what Captain Kangaroo did, right? Of selling out to Bosco, and they used to be filmed back in the day. They would cut out these bits of film and put one frame of Bosco in, right? So you couldn't see it with your natural eye. You wouldn't notice it, but the back of your brain, it registers Bosco. So by the time you're done watching this, you're craving Bosco. You got Bosco on the brain, and he got called out and fired because of that. But now they do it all the more normal, right? And even easier. So that's nasty.
It's been going on for years, even though it's illegal. It's subliminal advertising. It works. And then the other thing that they do, like you said, they have the psychologists. They also get these people to write lyrics for like the songs for these jingles for these products. And it's not a successful commercial if like down the road, 10 days after you heard it, that jingle just gets in your brain and starts like an earworm going back and forth and back and forth. When that happens, that's a successful commercial. They've gotten into your head, and then you may not ever need that service, whatever it is. But at some point, if you ever do, you're like, let's say it's for a tire service company and your tire explodes going down the road. Their jingle is going to instantly hit your brain like an earworm. And you're like, oh, well, that's where I'll go to get my tire. Instead of going to the cheaper guy who does it better.
See, and those escort commercials ring out of my head when I think of the roses red, violets blue, come to us, and you'll be happy too. That's a quick little jingle. I like it.
That's exactly what they're for. They're getting your brain and stay there till you need the service.
And then they have all kinds of famous people like Elliot Spitzer, who's part of their escort service. Used by. I don't know, man. But that's the duality of this world. There's the people that have it all, the people that have nothing. I was looking at a list of these yachts that famous people own, right? It's 100 yachts, 100 people. Ben Affleck, people like that. Or you'd be shocked who owns a yacht. And when you hear them in public talking about politics, you sometimes forget how really disgustingly wealthy these people are and how out of touch with reality they are. So you got to take it from where it comes. My favorite question for politicians when they're running like in Ithaca, I go to these local races and I say, what does a gallon of milk cost and a loaf of bread? They wouldn't know. They had no freaking clue. These were state politicians. They were wealthy. They didn't buy their own food, man. And I'm like, then I would say, I catch them, if you don't know what milk and bread cost, you can't represent people. Ha! And they would see me coming. They got wise to that. They started not letting me in. There's the milk and bread guy.
So I was catching one of the polls while y'all were talking. Somebody sent me a buttload of them, all of us, which is cool. I mean, it's cool.
We can talk about polling.
Well, we're going to talk about these. So 71% don't want Biden to run for re-election. That's not. I would have to think we all pretty much knew that was a given.
I didn't want him to run to begin with.
Currently, only 28% of America thinks that the Democrats can run the country correctly or can get us in the right direction. So I don't care what y'all say, people. It doesn't look like you're going to get. It still looks like there's going to be a red wave in November. It doesn't look like you're going to get it. But I'll tell you one of the reasons why. Because one of the things that are hurting you Democrats is first you forget that there are pro-lifers in your own party, so they're going to vote whatever the pro-life party is. So I don't know what you're going to do about those. So you've already lost those.
A lot of Catholics, a lot of Democrat Catholics.
You're also going to have a lot of Hispanics and a lot of blacks that are going to go ahead and vote this way this year. So I'm not sure how you think you're going to get it and how you think this, but it's even worse than that because it doesn't seem like your party thinks it's as serious as it is. It's y'all are kind of but you really are more interested in Jan 6 and other things that really are not going to help you win the
No,
election.
because it's smoke. It's just smoke. I mean, it's going to go nowhere. It's just a smoke job because things are so critically bad. When we have to borrow baby formula from third world countries, we're at a loss. We're at a loss.
Yeah, but see,
You
that's what
know,
they think. They think they can hate on Trump, and that's going to help them win midterms. It's going to only hurt y'all. It makes you look, Nancy, okay, and Liz. One of the things the country's looking at is, like Michael just said, we're no baby food, no lots of things, and all you're interested is in Jan 6, which we all know is never going to amount to anything. Just like none of your other investigations or impeachments did. We already know this. There are already people going against this woman. So her
just before
testimony is crap. So and
mark,
that's the
mark
only
my
thing you've
words.
got.
Just before election, they're going to lower the gas prices. They're going to get all the stuff out. They're going to smooth everything over for a very short time to make it look like it's good because that's what they
Country
do.
is not
And
going
they
to
say,
buy that.
look, we're fixing things. Things are getting
Actually,
better.
it's up to Biden when it comes to gas. He's not going to. He already said he's not going to let him drill. And if
I
he's
don't
not going
think
to let
he's
us
going to
drill,
make it. I don't think he's going to make it. I mean, he's got a lot of problems, medical problems. I mean, he's 80 years old. He's not going to make it, man.
so we
You
got
know,
this Jan 6. We had, this shows y'all. This helps make my point, people. So what news stream am I on right now? I'm on NBC News. So I'm reading this about this Trump-backed rep Mary defeats Romney. So you look across here, these Trump people are still beating the other opponents and winning big, and
yeah,
big numbers are coming out for them. So
landslide.
To Jan 6 doesn't mean shit to those voters. Matter of fact, all keep saying, "Oh, this is going to make more Democrats come out." Pro-lifers in the South that don't normally vote will come out and vote this election and probably the next one, just because of this. People who have never voted in their life are now going to come out and vote. I don't know why you keep thinking that there's more pro-choice than there is pro-life or pro-life pro-choice. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're probably really about to say, no, I don't even think they're that. Because they always hear 85% of Americans are for abortion. Well, that's kind of a lie. 60% of Americans are for some sort of abortion, but not for birth control, meaning that if it endangers the mother's life or the child is some kind of is messed up in some way or rape or incest. Other than that, you can't have an abortion. That's what they're saying. 60% of
I'm
America is for that.
I'm the opposite. I'm all for belated abortion up to 18 years old, man. You know that because that would keep those kids in line. You know what I mean? Like
You'd been
moment
aborted,
you
you
get
bastard.
vaporized. We're gonna
You
get
should be
vaporized,
glad you'd have been aborted.
and we're
Mike
gonna
would
have
have been
another
one
one.
of the.
I'll make another one look just like you.
Well, and the thing is about this is that, first of all, I don't think anybody has any right to tell anyone else what they can do or what they cannot do with their body. It doesn't affect them in any way. But I was thinking about this afternoon. What if you have that couple that honestly don't want children for whatever reasons? They have the reason. We don't need to know why they don't want children, but they have the female has the Depo-Provera shot. She makes her partner wear condoms. And yet, through all that protection, she still gets pregnant and doesn't want the child. What then? Is she not allowed to have an abortion because she's got the protection? She's not out, sleeping around with 20, 30 guys a week trying to get pregnant and get an abortion for birth control. This woman is actively seeking to not get pregnant. Yet, through all the protections, it can still happen. It's not 100%. What happens to her?
But the real question is should you ever kill a viable fetus? That's the real question. The other question doesn't make it any difference. So if you did get pregnant through all of those things, most religious people would say that was a miracle baby. So it's all in the way you look at things.
That's a catch-22 though, Joe.
They're so simple.
The only way to find out if it's a viable
that
fetus
is simple, man.
Yes,
it is.
But it's
People
a
just want to
catch-22.
I'm sorry,
to find out if it's viable, you have to wait till a certain point after the point where most abortions are no longer allowed, even in the legal states. So at that point, you find out, your child's going to be born with no arms, no legs, and be probably completely mentally retarded.
Well,
You're past the point where she can have an abortion legally. What do you do then?
But none of the states so far. No. But that's more wise, because so far none of the states have said they're going to do that. There are states that said they're going to ban abortions on all categories except for things like that. They're going to be exceptions.
What I'm saying, Joe, is that when they're able to find out that the fetus is no longer viable, it's beyond the point of 15 days or whatever 15 weeks, whatever it is, where most abortions stop anyway. So after 16 weeks, they find out it's a non-viable child.
But they can still.
It's too late.
But I think you'll be able to go in front of a judge or somebody and get that done. I don't think, because in the end, we don't. The judges and all are going to allow for some things because they don't want those kind of people in our society anyway. Think about this. When I was growing up as a kid, there was way more handicap we seen. There was way more albinos. There's way more all kind of stuff that you don't see in our society today because of good health. All of that's either been bred out or changed or moved along or stepped up to the next evolutionary step. And I think in these cases it will too, but I don't know. All this is tough because one of my good friends, she's always telling me, "Well, it's my body, and if I want to have an abortion, I will." Okay, that's fine, but how come the kid doesn't? You just got pregnant. That kid should have rights. Why doesn't it have rights?
They should get a vote.
The kid should ever get a kid should have right. Once it takes its first heartbeat, boom, it's alive.
Last week,
what is it sentient?
We identified Jay
Sentient
as
at that point. We don't know.
an attorney to a fetus attorney, man. You got to go out there and represent.
I can't tell you more than, but I can tell you after 3 weeks, I could feel my son kicking. He responded to my voice. He responded to my hand on my wife's stomach. So they all that stuff about 8 and 10 weeks.
Let me ask you guys this: in a weird event, if there was a guardian appointed to the fetus and was actually there legally for them, and then the mother says, "I'm going to get an abortion," but yet the fetus sues the mom. Now that's National Enquirer type of stuff right there. That's something I want to see.
But you might see that in the future because, in the end, this is a tough thing because if somebody wants that baby, why would you willingly want to kill it? See, that's the problem. So when I've done birth control. Yeah, I've done a couple of lectures. Thanks to that archive Stephanie had done, which I think has reached over 14 million now. I've got to do a few lectures on this, and I always, when I'm talking, about 2/3 of the way, actually about a third of the way, and these women are looking at me like I'm going to kill you, white boy, and then when you'll see me look out and I'll say, okay, well, let me ask you something, moms and grandmoms and great grandmoms, are you okay with them killing your grandchild? Oh shit, no. The whole atmosphere changes because they're not. That's their grandbaby you're talking about now. It's a whole different argument. It's like, well, wait, yeah, she should have rights, but wait a minute now. I should have rights too because I want my damn grandbaby or my great grandbaby or my great grandbaby or whoever the hell it is.
I hate to
say. So what happens to those rights? And what happens to the father's rights? Because right now in the United States, fathers have zero effing rights, zero. So if she decides she wants to keep the baby, you got to pay. If she decides she wants to kill the baby, you're nothing you can do. She gets to kill the baby. So if you wanted her to kill the babies, why would you have to pay child support? Why don't you have the right to say, okay, well, you know what? You got pregnant. I want you to have an abortion. I'll pay for it. And if she says no, then you shouldn't be responsible for the child. She should be. But that's not how it works. There are no men's rights in here at all. That's something that needs to be addressed. Laws,
definitely. But you have some other problems too. Like you're talking about killing the grandbaby, and the grandmothers and the mothers are like, no, not going to happen.
Yeah, because they'll raise it.
You do have those few parents where they got a 13, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girl who gets pregnant in high school, middle school, and the parent wants the abortion. What do you do then? The mother is in charge of the child's health. The child doesn't get a say until they're 18, 19, 20.
Oh, no, not anymore. 16. They get to say at 16.
Okay, so like I said, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's skip the 16-year-olds. Yeah. They don't get a say in their health. The mother says you're getting the abortion.
But then in some states,
the boy father doesn't get a say. The boy's parents doesn't get a say in it. It's
because
guardian's choice.
In some states, you can bring that in front of a judge, and if the child is mature enough, they might go ahead and let them have the child anyway. They might override the mother. But see, the thing of it is only crazy liberals want to kill babies by the tens of millions. I mean, we've killed 55 million babies. It's fucking ridiculous. There is no one can give me an explanation or a plausible reason why. I mean, do you realize we have killed more babies than the amount of people that died in World War II? That's disgusting. There's no excuse for that. Everybody in this country should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, it is just a pathetic thing that we have literally killed 55 million babies. 48 million people died in World War II. We have surpassed that now. At the rate we are going, within the next 100 years, we will have killed more babies than all the freaking wars combined. And that's okay? How do you think that's okay? Nobody can justify that. That makes no sense to me because two idiots got somebody pregnant. Look, you should have known better. And what bothers me more, okay, I'm not as bad about this for when you're, say, like you said, 12 to maybe 20, 21. You're young, you're stupid, you make mistakes. The ones that bother me, all right, you're 25 and up. You have no excuse. You know better. There's no way you can say you don't know unprotected sex. You can get pregnant. Any boy can't, the girl can't, nobody can. Everybody there is of mature age, and there's no excuse. So you made a mistake. You should have to deal with the mistake, and you shouldn't be allowed to kill it because it should be a lesson, like everything else is in life. But we are fine with, and you know what? It's even worse. 55 million babies. That would have increased the population in this country. It's been 30, 40 years. So it'd be about 150 million people that don't exist now because of that. And on top of that, you don't know who. It could have been the next Elon Musk, the next Edison. Could have been the next Michael Angley. Of course, could have been the next axe murderer too. But still,
it could have been the next,
you just don't know who you're killing. The guy who invented deep space flight might be dead.
He said Einstein and Elon Musk or Michael Angley and the axe murderer.
Hey, no, I said you came right after Einstein or Edison, whatever it was. But the point is we don't know who we're killing off. We may have killed off the person who could have cured, Corona. So we don't know. Or somebody might have had natural immunity that could have been used to cure Corona, maybe dead now. That's the problem when you do this. And people tell me, oh, well, the rest of the world, no bullshit. The rest of the world does not have abortions.
Look, on the other side, we could, if we kept it going, we could have been we could have killed the fetus that would have made the next Corona virus.
That's true, too. That's the whole point with this. That's the thing, but you just don't know what it is. But it's even worse than that. I know, how can it get worse than what I just said? American population is about 1.45 babies per family now and dropping. So once we drop, I think it's 1.1 or something, we are no longer keeping up. We're going to start going backwards. Our population, our country will start shrinking. We're almost to the point right now. So it's a problem. And yet here we are murdering 55 million babies when we're about to start going backwards in population. When we have a country that can easily house 1 billion people.
Well, and we also have a country, an enemy that lifted the one-child ban. So people in China can now have 2 children. So they will quadruple in.
Because they realize, too, with one child, you start going backwards. It's going on in Japan right now. They're actually going backwards. Because they're at like 7.9 or 8.9 or something. So they're going backwards. But yet we want to go aborting babies when we really need to be having more babies. See, I just don't get it. And what happens here is a lot of people just don't realize. They don't want to talk about the truth. They just want to talk about the bullshit like the liberals throw out there without truth. Oh, Carly, no, baby. Republicans lie just as much as Democrats do. Oh, no. That's why I'm a centralist, because no. I'm sorry. I got lots of Republican friends. I got lots of liberal friends. I got independent friends, other centralist stuff like that. But both parties just can't. It doesn't matter. When you go listen to them speak, half everything you're going to hear is bullshit. Yes. Oh, you seen the poll of DeSantis running for president? The only person that can beat him is Trump. I don't know if it's going to stay like that, but right now, if the primary was held today, DeSantis would win. Would lose. Trump would win.
I don't think Trump would get it, man. There's a lot of middle of the road people that didn't like his stuff, and especially right there at the end. At the end. But if he didn't mess up there at the end, he'd be a contender. But I think there's just too much.
But see, a lot of people say that's actually what's helped his numbers for staying up, because a lot of people feel like they were cheated.
He acted like a dictator, and I think that people they don't want somebody.
I've never seen him act like a dictator. All I ever seen Trump say is, "Don't go create violence. Don't do this." All of his posts say that. All of his audio posts. Why do you think? No. Listen. This is easy. This is real easy, ladies and gentlemen. You will not find a post anywhere that said to go get riot or destroy anything, and there's no audio anywhere, because if there was, Jan 6 committee would be paying it every day.
He would be in jail right now if you said it. He would be in jail.
So there is nothing anywhere. It is all hearsay.
Did he or did he not throw Mike Pence under the bus?
Yes, he did. Absolutely.
Yes, and Mike Pence needed to be thrown under the bus.
Why?
Mike Pence sucked as a VP. He was a shit crap hole as a VP.
He was a good servant. He was there for Trump.
No, he was not. He was not. He was always pushing against Trump. He didn't like Trump. They were just not compatible. And there was a couple of times I thought Pence threw Trump under the bus. I figured
January 6th, he incited that group and he threw Pence under the bus. I watched it. Man.
Where?
I watched it.
You're not going to see it, Mike. If there was anywhere that he did this, it would be part of the trial, and it's not.
It's not. It can't be.
It's not.
The whole thing. He didn't say it once.
He never one time told anybody to go riot anyway. He actually went out of his way
told that group
more
to
than
go
one
to
time.
The Capitol and put a stop to this.
No,
I
he
mean, I
told the
watched him. I
Capitol.
watched him say it.
Yeah, he said go
I
peacefully
actually
to
couldn't
the
believe
Capitol.
what he was
Peacefully,
He
saying.
said go
I think
peacefully to
And
the
he never
Capitol,
said
Mike.
go to the Congress. He never
Peacefully.
said storm the building. He said
Yeah,
I
he
think
said go
demonstration.
peacefully.
I think that he just lost
A
himself
lawyer
in
will
that whole
eat this.
situation.
Will eat this.
You know
I
what?
think this
He
helped him.
probably even regrets all that because it wasn't good. Nothing. Not one of it was. Not
Well,
one
his
part of
law,
it was
Mike,
good.
his numbers are up. Jan 6 is only helping him, not hurting him. As far as the country's concerned, this is just another Russian hoax. And that's where they're going with it. The news media is following the same suit. I'm watching his poll numbers go up every week.
You
He's
need
over
a
55%.
Republican that doesn't have the dirt. That's all.
And when
Simple.
they made
You need a Republican
dirty.
that can do what Trump did, and I don't think DeSantis can.
Here's the proof, though. If
You
you
like
look back,
DeSantis.
I do, but I don't think he can come into what's going on. Hold on, Jay. I'll give you the floor. But I don't think I really like DeSantis, and I think after 4 years of Trump, the next 8 years with DeSantis will bring this country into something we haven't seen in 50 or 80 years. But he's not the guy who can take it this
Civil war.
shithole in Biden and turn it around. Only Trump can get us back to oil independency and a good economy again. That's not Santos's strong points, but it is Trump's, and he can do it. And if the country lets him have another 4 years, he'll turn us around. He'll get us in the right direction. They'll hand it over to DeSantis, and we'll have a great country. And we'll
And
all
if
be
we're all still alive, we're going to be right here on election night talking about this.
we'll talk about
We
it.
sure the hell will be too. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we do every election. Oh, we do midterms and we do presidential elections. So far, we have called all the presidential elections right. So we've been pretty good.
I've been on a few of those shows.
And they're always a lot of fun. Well, because everybody in the network has different political views, ladies and gentlemen. We have 9 hosts that usually show up, maybe 10, and everybody has different views. And we're watching sources. We have at least 20 or 25 different number sources coming in. We're talking. We're seeing where everybody's at. We're just we're killing NBC. You want to see the real predictions? You come watch us because we put them people to shame. We put Fox to shame. We put NBC to shame. I mean, we're just right on the numbers. And we're really good because we don't have to play the partisan bullshit. We just have to do what we think is right. And we were really good. For Trump, we called it at 7:30. For Biden, we called it at 8:30. So long before anybody else did, we were both in right occasion. So, and, you know, we did a couple of elections for when we did Obama, we called both of his elections right on the money. So the first election I ever called on the radio was Clinton's second election. It was an easy one to call, too. It was an easy election. Whether you liked him or not, I liked Clinton. I liked Reagan.
You ran against Dole, man. Come on, that's not even. Dole's like half alive,
stuck in his hand. You know?
I know. If y'all don't know who Dole is, don't even waste your time looking him up. How he even won the primary is still beyond me. It's like when Trump won the primary, but Trump turned out to be a pretty good president.
They had nobody. I mean, no,
Jennifer. I like Ron DeSantis. I think he's a great guy, and I think he's doing a fabulous job in Florida. But he was handed a certain setup financially in Florida so he could do his job. And I think if Trump comes in and does it, if he brings DeSantis in as his VP, and DeSantis serves as 4 years as VP and then 8 years as president, I think he will beat everybody's numbers. I think he'll beat out Reagan.
It's got to be
Kennedy,
no.
9 yards.
DeSantis and that one Latina that just won in Texas, man.
No, she's too new.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, for numbers, it would probably help her.
Obama was a senator for 6 months.
Yeah, look what job he did. That's my point. President. We don't want anybody newbies, man. We're tired of newbies. I mean, come on.
For a vice president? What do they do anyway?
It's the second job in the office. Yeah, what was it that Obama was? He was 2 years as a senator before he quit to become president, and he was terrible. You need more political.
Well, he was terrible because
in those 2 offices. Obama. And Trump didn't have any, but he did pretty good job.
Obama was terrible because he was Obama. I mean, let's face it.
Well, I got to answer it real quick. Christian, to answer your question really fast. Yes, I know y'all heard me talking about it. Was it Wednesday? I was talking about the APC. So yeah, we'll be back up. We don't do polls all the time. We do them like 3 times a year. It's usually politically related. Sometimes, if like Roe versus Wade, we'll put up a poll for something like that because we have a big reach. So we'll get it. But let me explain something to y'all. We don't even consider a poll to be legit unless it's 10,000. Okay, we're not. Oh, it's 100 people. And this is what's going to happen. It's one of the reasons we can call elections as good as we do because when you have polls reaching over 10,000 at least, and we don't go take polls like in a Boston mall or a Louisiana mall or something like that. We actually take legit polling across the country. We're not trying to prove anything. We're just trying to find out what is going on. Is what we're trying to do. So it's a different thing for us. You know what it is, people. When we're doing the news, we're doing it because we're like y'all. We're tired of watching the bullshit that you can never understand what's going on, and they always take a side, and their side is always wrong. So at least with us, we're just showing you where we are and what's going on, and you can make up your own mind. Oh yes, and we will talk about that in a few minutes. But we got a couple of ads we got to play real quick, and well, not yet, but all right, we'll talk about. I'll let Mike. We'll talk about it, and then I'll do the ads. So Ukraine. So U.S. sent them some pretty serious weapons. I see they've managed to take the island back, and they're pushing them out of another city. So did y'all know this? We get 500 to 800 of these missiles, these whatever missiles we sent them a year, right? We've given them 5,500 of these missiles. You know how much these freaking missiles cost? I'm like, what? Wait, and then where's our supply? Is somebody backing up our supply in case we go to war? What the hell's going on here? Is Biden that ignorant that we're giving away missiles and not replenishing our supply with new, better missiles?
Not only that, he gave them those 5,500 missiles, and then he approved another 800 million in aid.
Right, had to, because their ratings were dropping. You know what I mean? So we had to give them a little better equipment, a little bit of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're starting to lose them. I lost interest, man. I'm a YouTube mentality. 5 minutes, I'm on something else. 5 minutes, I'm watching the RV guy drive through the desert. You know what I mean? Or I'm at my narrowboat guy in England. I mean, there's other stuff going on. But you know what? Before we even continue, it's 11 o'clock here on the East Coast, man, New York. We must say happy birthday to Canada, man. July 1st,
Happy birthday, Canada.
Yeah,
we love you. Yes, we do.
Yes, Canada, oh, Canada.
Okay, I love some of the people in Canada. I don't know if I actually love Canada, but I love some of the people in Canada. How's that?
We got some beautiful friends up in Canada.
Here, look, wait. Here, I'll give y'all something. Hold on. Where's it at? Dun, 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 dun. We had these on yesterday for both countries. There you go. Canada. See, there's ours for the weekend. Wait, there's ours. Yeah, there's ours. But there's Canada. So we're all proud.
I was doing a show, and
we
Joe
love
put
you,
the
Canada.
The Canada
yeah, Mike was Canada,
and I was as offended if it said New Jersey.
Mike was Canada last night, people. It was one of those things. But no, really, there's been just so much news and so many things going on. And getting back to this Hutchinson chick, I listened to her testimony the first time, and I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty crazy. And then I'm thinking, but I got to say, the thing about Trump throwing something across the thing and splattering shit on the wall, I actually believe that. Whether it's true or not, it's just something Trump would do. If I was in that election, it was that tight and I lost, I'd be pissed too. I'd be kicking shit, throwing desk over, acting like an ass. As far as grabbing Secret Servicemen, one, I agree with Mike said earlier. I don't think he can get his fat ass over the seat to grab him. Two, it would just be the stupidest thing he's ever done because they would put him in a lock so fast it'd make his freaking head spin. So I just don't think that's the way Trump went with that. And as far as anything else goes, and I agree with you, Clara, for Jan 6, if Jan 6 wants to win this, they've got to have the smoking gun. What I mean by that is they need something. Somewhere that Trump said, go riot, go tear the Capitol, storm the Capitol, go inside and do damage. If they can't find that, this will never amount to anything. The DOJ has already said this. Without that, there is no case. He said all the rest of it is hearsay and bullshit, and that's exactly what it's been. So, and what's funny about this, has y'all seen the ratings on this? They're low. I mean, CNN's getting like 2 million. I think all together, like only about 20.
It happened 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Who cares?
Yeah, so it's between 14 and 22 million people watch this in the country, and you can bet your ass they're all liberals.
Who hasn't thrown something in their lives? I've thrown stuff. You guys have
I've thrown shit. Look, I would have been pissed if I'd have lost, because as whoever wrote that comment about, there was no voter fraud, I'm not buying it. I do believe there was some, whether it changed the election or not is not the point. I guarantee you that Pittsburgh already said there was voter fraud. In at least two jurisdictions, enough to have changed the election. There was 3 other states that had said the same thing, and they're in that stupid movie. What is it? 2,000 Mules or Mules? I don't know. Anyway, I haven't watched it. No, I haven't watched it.
2,000 jackasses.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know. I don't want to give you bogus information, but from what I've seen from the investigational report, there was at least 4 or 5 states that said there was concerns. But Trump had already said this, and this is why the media can go on and stomp around with this. Trump had said, I don't want an investigation. I don't want to be a 2-year president. There was pretty sure there was enough evidence to overturn the election, but he didn't want to be a 2 years.
I'm going to solve the problem right here. Since we can't trust Congress and we can't trust the leadership at all, not ever. I think it's important that they take truth serum before they start talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish
There's
there was such a
there's
thing,
ways of
buddy.
getting truth out of people, and
Yeah, but truth seems really actually a myth. It doesn't always work. It's like
it
a lie
works.
detector.
It works much of the time, especially with electricity. It definitely works. You got to think outside the box a little bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you
Yeah,
know, we the three of us, we make our own path through life. You know what I mean? And you know, we're not the ones who are going to just kind of listen to rules and be like, oh yeah, you got to be there. You know, and be all gung ho about it. You know, this government should be making freedom more accessible to people and making people's lives easier, especially since we pay so much to keep the system rolling. Instead, they treat us like we're the enemy. And they want to take things from you all the time, both parties. You know, take. There's no give, you know, and they're looking to give to people that don't deserve it. These illegal aliens, yeah, they can apply for asylum. They can come over like all these other people came over. You know, we approve over 1 million people a year. We naturalize over 1 million people a year. That's not a small number, you know. And these are people
Big
that
number.
went there. These are the people that went on the path to become a citizen. That's beautiful because we're a melting pot. We're a diverse melting pot. It's one of the things that makes us strong, I think. You know, except the Democrats divide people into groups, and then those people in groups want to be divided against each other because they speak to that, you know. So there's problems that won't be sorted out for a long time. And as for throwing things, this is a funny story. You remember Johnny Winter, the
Yeah.
musician? So there's a on Long Island. There's a club called Chevy's Bel Air Cafe. It's not called that anymore. It's something else now. He got so mad after the show, he took a jar of mayonnaise and threw it into the wall. It actually went into the sheetrock. We left that thing there for like 15 years, man.
Oh,
We
you
go back
nasty
in
bastard.
and see that jar of mayonnaise. It was closed. It wasn't like open, but that was Johnny Winter's statement, and we thought it was awesome. So throwing things isn't necessarily something that's terrible. You know, it's a statement, right? A statement. He didn't want the mayonnaise.
Yeah, I bet you didn't want that nasty mayonnaise.
Well,
Oh
some guy
my
just got
god.
killed the other day at a Subway. He put too much
Oh,
mayonnaise on the guy's sandwich.
on a
Jeez.
whole completely different topic. I meant to bring this up
Hmm.
in the beginning. New Orleans is going to become the murder capital of the country, probably today or tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, we're killing people 5 a day now, 6 a
Because
day
you're out there
now.
with your little 9 millimeter capping people with your
Yeah,
Turkish
shit, they out there.
Turkish streets.
They were they're out there. The one guy got arrested yesterday. He had an AK-47, fully automatic, full load, 150
Who,
round banana clip
who has
on.
AK anymore?
This dude was going to war, man. There was no doubt about that. They're out there with all kind of guns from three. One guy had a 38. I ain't seen a 38 special since I was like, I don't know, in my teens. Um, they were illegal most places. You can't buy them anymore.
I had an SKS. I used to love that thing, man. It was a
Those
lot
are
of fun.
fast shooting gun.
Yeah, it was fun
It's not
shooting.
going to last, Joe. I can promise you this. I lived in Savannah, Georgia, and in 1993, we had this gang, the Ricky Gibbons gang. And from January till November, uh, Savannah was the murder capital of the entire United States. And it was like, you know, I don't remember the numbers, but somewhere on the order of 7, 8 people dying a week, month per month that year. And then at the very last bit of the month, Washington, D.C. took the lead with like this huge shootout in downtown D.C. where several cops were killed and several bad guys were killed. So D.C. took over at the very end of the year. I think you're going to see the same problem with New Orleans being the murder capital of the world. It's Chicago or Detroit or DC. So one of them is going to have like this huge blowout, and they're going to take it away from you. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh wait, hold on, y'all. Yes, Don, you're right. That's from too much Crown and Coke. That's what happens from too much Crown and Coke, my friend. Yeah, I forgot that was for a different show. I forgot that was up. That was for something entirely different. Actually, it was a 9 millimeter back there too. Oh no, actually it was a 1190 45 that was back there. What is it's 11 whatever the damn model number is.
Crown Royal, really? I'm gonna have to send you. I'm gonna send you a bottle of whiskey, man.
No, man, you weren't here for the skit anyway.
No,
You know where this came from. This Crown. How old y'all think this Crown Royal is?
no clue.
It's a few
12
years
years.
old. It's a few years old. We'll just say that. And then there's another one that's 2 years old that I brought back from LA with me. It's just I don't drink it at home. I just don't. It's one of them things.
I
I
don't
got
blame you. It's Crown Royal. I wouldn't drink it either.
I got I got this weird bottle of Henry's on top of one of the cabinets. It's aged 12 years, and I've had it for at least 15 years. 27-year-old bottle of whiskey up there. Now I've drank lots of kind of whiskeys. I got some really expensive whiskey in the house
No,
too.
I'm going
People
to
send
send
me,
you Knob Creek 120 proof, man. It's so sweet. Goes down so easy. It's actually owned by a Japanese company, but it's made through Jim Beam, you know. But man, what so sweet, the stuff for 120 proof. When I had my tooth stuff done, like the surgery, they gave me antibiotics and it was horrible, man. I took that Knob Creek and I soaked the area. I'll tell you, it's beautiful and it's nice because you're drinking Knob Creek at the same time.
Yeah, as long as it's not Jack.
So,
Jack gets me in trouble, so I'm not allowed to
Jack
drink
Daniels
Jack.
is a good mixer. It's a mixer.
Yeah.
You don't want to mix really good whiskey. You know what I mean? But Jack Daniels, Southern Comfort, all that stuff, man, they're just mixers.
Oh man, a good Southern Screw is always good, man. A little Southern Comfort, a little orange juice.
Southern,
man.
oh god, we call that Southern discomfort. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, you know, there was them Southern.
Orange juice.
There were them slow Southern Screws, but then that's a slow gin shit. Slow gin is just nasty, but a slow screw is
slow
just
gin.
Yeah.
Slow gin is nasty.
Yeah, but a slow screw is just Southern Comfort orange juice, preferably the higher alcohol content. Anyway, people, we're not going to talk about alcohol no more because we shouldn't be talking about that. There may be some young children listening to the show tonight.
Yeah, this is upload this late.
I mean, it's not in the program queue anyway.
Chopping on their government cheese, listening to the show.
Hey, it's Friday night. You never know, man. You never know what might be going on around the world.
I don't even drink alcohol. I talk about it.
Oh, by the way, people, real quick plug from my city that is the murder capital right now. Essence Fest is going on, so if you want to come down and have a good time, and there's lots of festivals in New Orleans. We pretty much have one every weekend, 12 months a year. But so you can come on down. But in the summertime and the spring and fall, we have tons of them. There'll be 3-4 each weekend. So Essence Fest is down. Come on down.
You say S&M Fest?
Essence Fest.
Oh, Essence. I thought you said S&M Fest. Or SM.
You wish it was S&M Fest.
There is
no well, we know what Mike's brain is, man.
It's New Orleans.
Yeah, we know what your brain is, man.
I would expect it there.
I don't know how my city has become the murder capital of the country, but it does.
People are getting killed.
Live here.
That's how it happens.
Oh, anyway, we gotta. Wait, what's going on here? I'm missing.
They start counting numbers of those corpses, man.
Right.
I'm missing.
Who's getting killed? What's the bulk of the murder? Is it gang violence? Is it robberies? Is it
black on black, white on white? Stupid people doing stupid things. It's
what happened? You know what? What happened to unity, man? You know what I love? I love the black and white cookie. You know what I'm saying? It brings it all together for me, man. The black and white cookie. We can solve the world's problems just with the black, and it doesn't even have frosting. It's got fondant, which is fancy frosting, man. I'll have a black and white cookie, sir.
Oh, New York moves to add reproductive rights, equality to state's constitution. That's going to get shot down.
Oh, how about this one? That Hochul's trying to pass a bill where if you get a handgun, they're going to go through your social media first. So they're going to judge you on your social media, and they can refuse you for any reason.
That's going to get shot down.
Yeah, it's going to get shot down because it doesn't go along the lines. They're trying to circumvent the Supreme Court. They can't do it.
Arizona state senators suspended by DOJ in Capitol riot probe. Ooh,
you know, these liberals are anti-gun except for themselves and except for the people who protect them who have lots of guns. So it's all BS. They don't want people to protect themselves. You can't even carry a stun gun in New York. You can't carry a pepper spray in New York. You can't give your mom some pepper spray or a stun gun to hold off some horrible criminal. But they're happy to let people become victims. You know, and that's just something to pay attention to.
Well, a lot of weapons you can't carry in New York. It's unbelievable. The nunchaku is like Bruce Lee's favorite weapon, and it can be used deadly if you know what you're doing. If you're a black belt in karate and you trained on it, you can kill somebody with it. But it's a stick versus a gun. Why is a gun less violent than a stick, and you can't carry a gun or a stick in the state? It doesn't make any sense.
This Rockville Center cop like who knew me as a character, saw me parked at the train station. I was waiting for one of my friends, and the guy's like looking at my car, and I had this aluminum briefcase in the back. I guess he thought there was drugs in there or something. He actually opens the briefcase without a search warrant, nothing like that. And there was a pair of nunchucks in there, and he's like, "Oh, this is a felony. I could take you in." I said, "You just searched my car and searched my briefcase without any kind of warrant or anything. You
Yeah,
can't
what do
do
they care
anything."
about ones?
He took my nunchucks, though, the bastard.
Yeah, because they're illegal in a lot of states. 20-year-old mom gunned down New York streets. Oh my God, man. It's getting dangerous up there
So,
too.
so that this is the funny part, right? All these weapons were basically tools of Asians, And
Mhm.
when any kind of warring faction came in and took away their weapons, they started using their farm tools like nunchucks and things like that.
Yep.
So, what's wrong with carrying a nice hammer? You know what I mean? You watch some of these zombie movies; they end up using hammers because they run out of ammo and they run out of all this stuff.
I got a hammer. I got hammers in my trunk. I got 3-pound maul.
You
I
know
got
what? A
10-pound
ball-peen
maul.
hammer is a nasty little piece of work, isn't it?
Yeah, claw hammers too.
That's all that I
Uh-oh.
have to say about that.
Michael Angley charged with murder after NYC mama Azessa Johnson was shot while pushing her. So Michael, shame on you, man.
Wasn't that terrible?
You
The
know,
baby mom's got
I
it,
know.
man.
Oh wait, here's Mike. This helps with Mike. What Mike just said a few minutes ago. Biden proposes limited drilling leases off of Gulf of Mexico and Alaska. Oh shit, he's getting desperate, man.
Let me ask you guys this, right? Not to change the subject too far. Gasoline Maxwell, right, getting 20 years. Epstein's little counterpart, the madam who enticed young girls. They say some were as young as 10 or 11 years old, and delivered them to this guy, and they all had sex together, and she was also engaged in all that. She gets 20. R. Kelly gets 30. But R. Kelly, the girls that he was dealing with were the teenagers who came to them wanting fame, and it was one of those casting couch situations. Even though the girls were young, very interesting though that R. Kelly got 30 years,
Because
and
R.
you might,
Kelly was a big mouth. That's
but
why.
you put them in the same realm together. As I mean, I wouldn't even put him in a different realm as Maxwell,
But you know what?
because
You know what?
these
You know
guys
what?
were pedophile pimps.
But you know what? You
Like
want to know what the crappy part is, Mike? She's gonna have to do what she got 20 years, so she's gonna have to do 15 before she has a chance to get out because it's fed. But because his was in the state,
a lot of the
he
stuff is consecutive though with her.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I
But in
mean?
the state, he can be out as 7 years. See, state can let you out when it kind of freaking feel like it. Fed, you have to do 2/3 of your sentence, no matter
You
what.
think he's gonna sit there and write songs? I can't believe they put me away
Think about it.
for
Do
30
you?
years for
But I mean, look,
some,
it's going to
some
suck because
pussy.
he's. But it's going to suck because he's in jail. But they're not going to treat him bad in jail.
Well, because the guy used to pee on people, man. That was his thing. He used to pee on people. Dave Chappelle did a great routine about R. Kelly, and he said that he was walking through the airport on another occasion, and R. Kelly saw him. He's like, that mother effer was mad. But that's comedy, man. Comedy's supposed to be funny and it's supposed to be edgy. And if you don't like it, you turn it off. You don't want it, right?
Sometimes it
Now,
can be true.
now comedians are under the gun, But
Okay,
if you
so
go back and listen to George Carlin about all the stuff he said, and I don't even like him all that much. He's funny though, but a lot of the stuff he said, what was going to happen is happening, and people are hung up on all these things, like religion or like compartmentalizing themselves in groups, and they all think they all have the belief. They're acting on their belief. A belief is a powerful thing, man. An idea you could change, but a belief is they sell it to you. The people who believe in their religion, which is one's funnier than the next. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Oh, look. So, good. See, thank God for Louisiana, man. Thank God for
What happened in
Louisiana.
Louisiana? Some hot
So
sauce.
we call it
Louisiana hot sauce.
we call it Louisiana, but anyway, a lot of times we call it lousy, and it becomes some kind of move, man. But so trumpets. I mean,
There's a quote for you guys.
Biden had stopped all offshore leasing because of climate concerns. Well, the district judge in Louisiana told Biden administration that it was completely unethical and illegal what he did, and they had opened the leases back up. So they came to a compromise. Right now, they're only going to put up 10 leases over the next 5 years. So it's not going to help us at all because it'll take 5 years for them to do everything with the leases. So we won't see any relief from that. But they're forced to do it. And there's another case coming up that's going to probably force another 30 or 40 leases loose. And because the prices are so high at the gas pump, they're using that when they go into court is another reason. So, Tesla came out and said, about a week ago that electric cars are great and they will be the future in 50 years or 80 years. He said, but right now they're not. And we do need gas. Did y'all know Tesla has a gas powered vehicle? Oh, yes, he does.
All their
Or
vans
Elon, I
are
should say.
gas powered Tesla
So,
vans.
so
The
the thing
service
about this
vans.
is, well, so I've learned something today that kind of shocked me a little bit. Uh, how long does it take to charge an empty Tesla? If it's on, say, you're driving your
16
car. So I
hours.
drive my car 400, 500 miles. I got to get gas. It takes what, 15 minutes?
Yeah,
How long does it take a Tesla?
16 hours.
Yeah, it said 9 to 22 hours. I was
And
like,
it
what the?
costs money
And it costs money.
per hour. You're paying a
Plus,
few,
all that electricity, ladies and gentlemen, is being made by what? Cold or nuclear
some
or
old
gas?
dinosaur.
Yeah. It's so you're just still polluting more. You're not really changing anything. Plus, that lithium
Both these
battery had to
guys,
be dug out the
both these
ground.
guys
And
have heads in your background. See, Jay's got that imperial dude, and Joe's got the. They look kind of similar though, man. I'm freaking out from this.
mhm, they're watching you, Michael.
And Joe's got that weird ghost behind him. I don't know, Joe.
If there's any ghosts, he's gonna wish you didn't come here.
Joe
Since I,
also has 6 eyes. He's got
yeah,
a pair on his head and then the 2 in
that's
front.
right.
He's
8 eyes,
fancy.
man. Because his
That's
eyes
New
up there, you
Orleans
just
fancy.
can't see
Oh,
him.
that's
You
right.
can't.
Yeah.
There's 8 of them bitches. You just can't see him up there. It's wait, who? James refuses to call Peter Dorsey by the correct name while filling his. I have no. What? Okay, I don't even want to know what that's about. Man, there's been a lot of good space stuff lately, though. Man, we've been finding all kind of crap out in space. It's been cool. It looks like we're getting deeper into space. It looks like I don't know, man. Nobody's gonna be able to complete with SpaceX at the rate they're going. They're launching like every other day right now, and then
I
they're
don't
coming
know,
back and
man.
landing, man.
The United Kingdom has a plan on getting rid of a lot of that space junk. They're
Well,
going to
that's
send up
cool.
a space garbage truck type of thing, and then try to send things into burn. Have it burn in the atmosphere, or even retrieve some of them. Some of those satellites are worth a lot of money. You know, they just try to have to figure out what's going to cost more getting up there and getting back.
They
But you
got
got
some stuff in
Elon.
it. Platinum, gold foil, all kinds of stuff.
Elon's rockets are amazing, man. His Dragon capsule, things like that. I
So,
mean, they've come very far, further than NASA, and with ease into what they're doing. I love it. Love it. When I watched that
Yeah.
rocket land itself for the first time, especially on a barge in the ocean, man, that
I
was
know that
incredible.
was badass. I know it was.
Incredible. Loved it.
Oh, Marcus, you mean Brittany Griner? Yeah, I know her trial began in Russia. I don't know. Look, this they say this chick had drugs. I didn't know she was a girl until I seen her. She looks like a guy. I'm sorry, she looks like
Yeah.
a young guy.
She's very,
And
very
I mean, no
masculine.
offense to her, I just didn't know. And
She's looking
so
at 10 years, 10 years.
yeah, she
in
did. She did have drugs. Everybody said she did have drugs on her.
I'll
So
say it like this: 99% of those people get convicted. Only 1% doesn't. She's from the United States. They're making a statement. They're looking to trade her
that's what
for
they're doing. They're looking to
a
trade her.
Russian terrorist. To say, okay, we're going to convict her, then we'll trade. But the look on her face says it all. It says, "Don't bring drugs into freaking Russia." You shouldn't even bring weed into Pennsylvania, let alone bringing freaking hash into Russia. You know what I mean? And she
I
was just a
know.
dumbass for doing that. But she's got big problems, man.
Because somebody in Switzerland or Finland or somewhere told, oh yeah, you can bring that shit into Russia, and the Russian
You
said,
got
no,
to
you
say,
can't.
don't get caught, but you can bring it in.
Yeah, because in a lot of Scandinavian countries you can do that kind of stuff, but you can't do that in Russia.
Yeah.
Russia's kind of still
I
backwards.
don't feel bad for her because she put herself in that situation, man. You know what I mean? And anybody who does, they get what they get. You got to deal with that country and what they've got going on. And she wasn't very slick.
Mhm.
She was probably very arrogant initially. It seemed like that anyway. Like to me, that of course I'm a famous basketball player. Of course I could do this and F everybody. They have the liberal America attitude that doesn't float in the rest of the world unless you're in Sweden.
A lot of the rest of the world doesn't like us at all. Period.
But that attitude, I've traveled to a lot of places. You can't have an attitude like that. Even here in the United States, you travel to these other states. People definitely don't like New Yorkers. No matter where you go.
Man, New Yorkers aren't welcome anywhere, man.
Not saying we're not welcome. I'm saying they don't like it. They don't like you. Especially if you're like from New York City.
Y'all might be welcomed out in Cali, man, out in L.A.
California, they're just too deadheaded to even understand. Laid back.
Yes, there has been, but there has been a couple of Ukrainian strikes. There was the one that hit the school. There was the one that hit the building. There was the one that hit the mall. All of them killed people. Yeah,
Well, they
anywhere
put
from like
that new
10 to
general
20.
in. He weighs like 500 pounds, man. You
So
know,
what you
they
saying? He's stomping around and breaking shit?
I think that they just roll him over everybody. I think that's pretty much it. They just put him on his side and roll him over, man. You know what? They're scraping the bottom of the barrel. The Wagner Group has been destroyed, which is Putin's private army. Putin must either he doesn't know what's going on, or I don't know. I don't know, man, because they're just failing, and they're running out of soldiers. You know, they're running out of people. They're running out of generals and colonels. Over 50 colonels dead. You know, generals dead, blown apart. You know, a few months ago, these guys were on their private yacht having some borscht. You know what I mean? And now they're in a grave because of this nonsense.
Well, I think he realizes that he made a mistake and he doesn't want to save face and pull out. You
He's
know,
going
he
to have
doesn't.
to push harder. If I were
or,
him,
or pull
look,
out, bring everything back. Those
nah,
choices.
he could never do that. Not this dude. That would
No,
that would be a defeat like you wouldn't believe, or just say, okay, we're good with what we have and we're going to hold on to that. I don't see that happening.
I don't think if he stops now and pulls back, he's not going to hold what he's got because the rest of the Ukrainians are going to go right after him
Yeah,
and take their
especially
stuff back.
because
So
now
he's screwed either way.
there's troops coming into the region because other countries, third world countries, are sending ships and troops to escort food out of the Ukraine, the grain,
Mhm.
and they're looking to break the Russian blockade. Even Egypt is sending ships because their people are starting to go hungry. You know, and they're weaponizing food, so that's gonna push to a whole nother level. So
They have weaponized the food, and it's like what do they say? Millions, hundreds of millions of pounds of food are
yeah,
just sitting in harbors in the Ukraine ports,
right,
not being able to go anywhere. I mean,
getting
eventually
eaten
it's going
by
to go bad.
rats, getting eaten by rats.
You're right,
Right?
or it's going to go bad. They're going to have to throw it away. Either way,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's a bad situation.
At some point, push is going to come to shove. Either Putin's going to die, he's going to die of cancer, someone's going to kill him, some crazy stuff's going to happen like that, or he's going to just keep escalating until those nukes get used. You know, he might
Oh
just
yeah,
decide on the place to use a nuke that is kind of like, look, this is what we're going to do, and you mess with us, you know. So, I mean, right now it doesn't look good for them. That's for sure. And Ukraine's hanging in there. So, just
they're
what a
hanging.
shame.
They're hanging there real well, but especially with our extra help and all. But see, the thing is that he keeps saying that he's going to do repercussions against the West for what aid we've given him. If they send any more missiles across the border, he's coming after a NATO country, and that's going to spark off the rest of the world war going after him. It can't happen if he goes nutso and takes over Lithuania or Estonia, or he launches a missile at New York. It's on.
Russian helicopters already penetrated the airspace of Estonia. They already
Mm-hmm.
penetrated the airspace of Poland. They already penetrated other places too. They're getting probably more sloppy, I would say, you know, because a lot of these people now are very inexperienced who are flying these helicopters, who are flying these planes, or maybe they don't care. I mean, you know, they're going to keep testing the water, but obviously from the NATO response and the amount of people, soldiers being sent there, you know, I was reading this article last night on the air on how they're holding back this brigade in the UK because they've had orgies in their barracks. They smuggled in one woman, and then they have like over 100 guys that aren't going to go to war because they said it was demeaning to women and whatever, and I don't know, a whole bunch of drama. But it's kind of funny that how the general was talking, saying these men are supposed to be going to the Ukraine, and now they're not fit to serve. You know, so he kind of let it out as he was in one story as he was saying that, because it really hasn't been announced that these troops are going to the Ukraine. You know, but yet they're going to the borders to enforce you know, Poland and Hungary and other places like that too. So
Yeah, I mean they're not just they're definitely sending people into Ukraine. Germany, is it yesterday or the day before, signed over, was it 100 million or 40
yeah,
million? I don't remember the exact number. It's either 100 million or 40 million. They basically sent over the gross national product of what their country makes in a year
yeah.
to help them out.
But then Belarus got involved. They started shooting missiles, you know. So that's Putin's ally there. You know, they hadn't done anything so far, but last week they started shooting missiles into Kiev. So it's going to escalate. push has to come to shove, man. And I don't see this going into the winter dragging on. I think they're going to have to solve the problem pretty quickly, uh, just to solve the problem. You know,
Yeah, and as we were talking earlier, that how we're a freedom-loving country. Why don't we let freedom ring and get it more out in the open? As a country that is founded on freedom, protects people's freedoms to a degree. Why aren't we already there? Why didn't we send in troops? We could have stopped this thing on February 25th or
that
26th.
that would have been a direct assault in World War III and all the other stuff that they've been threatening. But all the stuff that they threatened hasn't come to fruition, has it? And we have
Yeah.
helped. We've given
Yeah.
them missiles, artillery, others, all kinds of stuff. Show those shoulder rockets. In fact, we're designing things just for the Ukrainian army to use against the Russians, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and with our manufacturing machine, we can produce stuff pretty quick. So
That razor now France is buying thousands of those razors, which is pretty interesting too. I mean, so it's becoming an arms dealing game, when we're sitting back watching this war go on, but real people are being killed. And it's the Russian soldiers don't want to do it. They don't want to be there. A lot of them went AWOL. They don't want to support this. The Russian people don't want to support this. So you really have just one dude with his generals, whoever's left is going into that theater and causing all these problems. And it's amazing that just one guy can do that. Isn't it amazing? After all this time, you would think that there'd be a better sense of control. You have one leader go completely out of control, just one guy. Just incredible that we're still like that as humans. Yeah.
Well, and I don't even think you can accuse Putin of having control because I just recently heard last week, that his goal was just to take over the eastern part of Ukraine, the Donbass and the Donetsk region, which I don't understand. Why do you only take half of a country? I think what really would have happened is he doesn't have control over what he wants to do. Had he taken over that first half of the country in the first couple of days or weeks, he'd be pushing on toward Kiev and the western part of the country. And if he isn't reined in either by us pushing troops in there or the rest of Europe throwing troops at him, I think he's going to keep going. He's not going to stop. He has no reason to stop.
He's already announced that he's the reincarnation of Peter the Great. He's already said that all those other countries belong to Russia, to the Soviet Union. So he's just trying to reclaim all those countries, which has been his plan the whole time. But he waited until now to do it because he knows the weak leadership throughout the world, especially the United States of America.
Yeah.
He would have never done this under Trump.
Never. Absolutely
never
not.
In a million years. Nope. It would have been a no-brainer. Trump would have seen him amassing people on the border, and that would have been it. Yeah. Not wait until they have 130,000. The Russians were lying the entire time. Oh, it's just a military maneuver. We're war games, and we're not there for any other reason than that. And they just kept lying and lying and lying. And that's what the enemy does. You're under no obligation to tell the truth to anybody.
Yeah, especially if you want to take over their country. It's like the old joke, the old World War II joke. How did Nazi Germany take over Poland? They marched their troops in backwards and said, "We're leaving."
Right. Well, how long did it take for the Nazis to get through Poland? Like 28 days or something?
Not very long. Yeah, it was the parts that really got to them the hardest was France and trying to take over Russia in winter.
So I dated somebody who was French, and we used to argue about this all the time. And she said that I said, "We saved your asses during the war." And, "Oh, no, we would have been liberated at some point, even if the Nazis took over." I'm like, "You're out of your mind. You would have been speaking German. There's no liberation. They treated the French like dogs." But it's just interesting, the mentality of people. And she's roughly my age, so just interesting, that where their heads are at, saying, good things would have happened eventually, which is ridiculous because of Hitler. Hitler's intention actually was unified Europe, and that's what they got now is the EU. So that was his vision, right? And
well, he didn't. It's not quite. It's a union. It's not one government, and it's there is one currency. His eventual push would have been the whole world, but he wanted to take over the whole of Europe and put it under one government with one currency, and then after that, build up the army and move out Russia, Asia, China, yada yada, and get the rest of the world eventually, which is what he would have done.
Kind of what they got, though. I mean, for unified Europe,
It's
you know,
almost, yeah.
it's very close to that vision, if you want to call it that. But you know, what are you gonna do, man? It's I think people are gonna it's all about survival. You know as well as I do. We need to get through every day. You know, and our lives have become a lot harder because of this Ukraine crap. You know, and people say, I'm happy to pay more because of it. You know, I'm not.
I'm not. Yeah.
You know,
barely squeaking by as it is, with gas prices the way it is, I can fill my tank up once every 5 or 6 days. Whereas before, when we were under Trump, I could fill my tank up once every 2 or 3 weeks and have enough gas to get back and forth between paychecks.
Yeah, I missed that days. Anyway, we gotta take some breaks here, so y'all just sit back and relax. These are all stuff that's coming up. This is for the writer. This is for the award ceremonies and for the podcast awards. So go over to podcastawards.com and vote for us. Vote for the Centralist. All three of us are on the Centralist. It's up for award. So is Outer Realm. So is UFO on the Cover. So is Chase and Proof. And so is Writers of the Future. All of them are up for awards. So let's see. I've just got these. So y'all going to hear these the same time. It's the first time I'm hearing any of these promos. So let's see. Bleep.
All right, everybody. It is that time of year again. It's time for you to get out and nominate for your favorite podcast. The show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards is The Centralist in the category of politics and news. The Centralist is a much different news and political program which is not deemed as opinion news. Listen as Joe Montaldo brings you just the facts from trusted sources, which will allow you to make up your own minds on the various stories being reported on. So go to podcastawards.com to nominate The Centralist in the category of politics and news. And that's podcastawards.com. Take a moment, go and vote, and as Joe would say, come on guys, vote, get out there, vote. What you waiting for? It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. The show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards is The Outer Realm, and that's in the category of Best Female Hosted Podcast. The Outer Realm is a popular show hosted by Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, which has millions of listeners each week. They are well known for their laid-back, round-table style of interviewing. Together, this dynamic duo brings you the best of the best with guests from around the world who are well-versed within their respective fields of ufology, paranormal, cryptozoology, folklore, and anything else that would be deemed outside the realm of normal. Michelle is an international public figure who has spent the last 2 decades working in the international paranormal community, in research and media. Amelia is a remote viewing medium with 10 years of working with missing children, as well as cold and active murder cases. So go to podcastawards.com to nominate The Outer Realm in the category of Best Female Hosted Podcast. That's podcastawards.com. It's super easy. So just please take a moment and get out and go vote. Yes, it's that time of year again. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. So there's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. You've been hearing it for years now. It's the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in 3 categories: education, storyteller drama, and art. So this show is based on the world-famous Writers of the Future contest created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard and provides advice and tips from contest judges, international best-selling authors, world-class artists, contest winners, and industry professionals for writers and illustrators wanting to take their next step. So go to podcastawards.com and nominate the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in all 3 categories. That was education, storyteller drama, and art. And that's podcastawards.com. So take a moment and get your votes in. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. There's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards, UFO Undercover, in the category of entertainment. This show brings you some of the most revealing and current research that is being done with respect to alien abductions and contact. Host Joe Montaldo has been an abduction researcher for over 35 years and is uniquely qualified to bring you live interviews with some of the most well-known researchers in ufology. So go to podcastawards.com and nominate UFO Undercover in the category of entertainment. That's podcastawards.com. So take a moment, get out and vote.
Yeah, woo, yeah, we go. There we go. Get out your asses and vote, people. You know I'm going to bitch all year if we don't win. You know how it was last year. We got runner-up last year. No, I want to win. Yeah, runner up got y'all. Got me off y'all's asses, but no. It's vote, vote, vote. Every show. These will be running across all the shows in the network, one or two of them per show. But go vote, people. Everybody here deserves to win. See, Michael and poor Jay didn't even know they were up for an award this year because the show got put up. So,
Really? Wow.
yeah. So yeah, well, y'all are on the show. Y'all are hosting the show. So if I win, y'all win. So if the show wins, you win. It'll be mentioned in the in the credits. Matter of fact, somewhere just before the podcast awards, we have to do a video on thanking them if we win. It's just a prep in case you win. They want to have them all ahead of time so they can play them at the award ceremony. So I did a pretty good one last year. She was wasted though. I didn't win. Damn it!
You all teary-eyed on us, Joe.
Yeah, no, man. I wanted to win. Damn it! I don't like to lose. Look, I'm not a good loser, people.
Right.
Damn. And I'm gonna give away a lot of love for everybody who goes and votes. I'll give you a free book. I got like a buttload of books in the house right now, saving for Christmas. But if you go vote, I'll give you a free book. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you got to go vote for me. I have 2 shows. I was hoping Science and Beyond would make it this year, but it didn't make it. So it did good last year. It came up as runner-up, but I knew the person who was running their shows won like the last 5 years, and she does a really good science show. So trying to beat her is going to be tough. I'd have to really up my game, and I'm too busy with other shows to do it. So I just figured it'd be best just to step aside and let the dice roll the way they way. But this show, and you up on the cover are up. This show was up last year. It also got it for runner-up. It made it all the way to the end. We just didn't get tossed over the top. There's tough people in the political category. As we get closer to over this next month, we're going to get a little bit more serious in the show because we want to vote. So get over there and vote. Don't be scared to go vote. Podcastawards.com. Don't be scared to vote. Michael says he wants to be famous, man. So vote for his ass. Anyway, well, where were y'all at before I got rudely kicked off the internet?
We were talking about what was going on in Ukraine and what the outcome could be, what the repercussions could be, and it's not looking good. I mean, I asked Mike the question. He's muted right now. I asked him, why didn't we send troops in on the 25th, 26th of February? We could have stopped this right away. And he said, well, Third World War would have started. And he's probably right. It might have, but it might have ended it right there.
Well, that's a hard. Well, is it going to start anyway? Because it's looking like Ukraine is going to become part of the EU. So if Russia's still attacking the Ukraine, so I'm imagining the EU is going to try to broker a peace deal. If they can't, they will have to go to bat for the Ukraine.
Yeah. It's looking that's looking more and more like it's going to happen. But at the very least, I think they're saying they're going to be an interim member, something to that effect.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to.
That's still enough that they would have to throw in troops to back up their friends.
And the U.S. is throwing troops all over Europe again. We just sent a bunch more to Poland. We're talking about keeping 10 or 15,000 over there permanently now.
I bet your Ramstein base is at full capacity or more.
And then now we're talking about, we got 800 new miles of border along the Russia border now with Finland and Finland and Norway, Finland and Sweden. Anyway, whoever it was, are now part of NATO. They've joined. They struck a deal somehow or another. They have pleased, what's his name, Aragon or Ugon, the Turkey guy, and so now they're part of NATO.
Just recently.
Just like 2 days ago. And then there's other countries that want to join NATO as well. So there's 4 or 5 more countries that want to join because Russia's making everybody nervous. Putin's getting mad, but he's the one making everybody nervous. None of them Scandinavian countries ever wanted to be part of NATO or EU or anything. No. They just wanted to sit up there and mind their own damn business.
Switzerland and Sweden have traditionally always wanted to be completely neutral in any of these types of conflicts.
But, there was a lot of bad things happened to them up there. So first off, when Angela Merkel let in all the Muslims, the rate went up in their country. I think it was 800%. Yeah. There was neighborhoods getting cut off and stuff. So all of a sudden, their government has been a liberal government for like 50 years. It's almost all conservative now, even their leaders. They just switched over. They were like, well, we can't have this. And conservatives are not going to put up with that. So you can tell a conservative city versus a liberal city every time. Liberal cities are lawless. Conservative cities are not. They believe in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. But the problem when you get into big cities, the bigger city gets, the more liberal city becomes. It doesn't make any sense why though, because the bad things that happen. It's like I was talking to some friends of mine from California that are moving to Austin, and they're telling them, man, don't come down here as a Democrat. We don't want your crap. If you're going to come down here and change your vote and become one of us, fine. But if you're going to come down here and just try to change it into another blue shithole, no, we don't want you.
Well, and I think part of the reason why you're seeing larger cities having less trouble keeping the peace is as you increase the population, you have to increase the police force. And I don't think they necessarily do that. In this country alone, we don't have enough police to manage the streets. Now, forget about the cities, but to manage the streets, we don't have enough police officers to keep people from speeding, driving drunk, and driving erratically on the roads. Usually, no matter where you go, I don't have that large of a commute, but I've driven through the DC commute on I-495, 995, all around 270, all around in Maryland. And there are people that are just, they're going 25, 30, 40 miles over the speed limit, and they don't slow down unless they see a police officer. And most of the time when they see a police officer, he can't pull that guy over because there's 40 other cars doing the same thing. He'd have to pull over all 40 cars. We just don't have enough law enforcement. That's part of why you see some of those cities not being able to keep control. They don't increase the police force.
Yeah, and they really need to. I mean, it's just a sad state of affairs. Oh, wait, what is this? Oh, I'll have to send this to Michael. North Korea claims alien things at the border cause COVID-19.
Alien things. What kind of thing?
I don't know if they mean like alien things like in Mike, where are you, dude? Are you like stuck on mute or something?
He might have gone to the potty.
That's true too. No, we ain't leaving there. What? I got stuff going all over. I'm trying to find out. Damn, I got all kind of pages open, man. When I get into news, I got stuff going everywhere. I still ain't even going all the way over the midterm election thing. I was just looking for one of my Facebook pages. Where there it is, and I don't know. It's just alien things. I had heard a couple of days ago that they said that that South Korea was sending balloons filled with COVID into North Korea.
What kind of things filled with COVID?
Balloons.
Balloons filled with COVID.
Yeah, filled with COVID and sent into North Korea. Now, when I heard it first time, I was like, "You got to be joking me! Who are you?"
Yeah, it's not a very efficient weapon.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do it, but I mean, I don't know why you'd want to. And then now you got this.
I don't know. Wait, are they sending the balloons like inflated, flying over the border, or in like packages to like party centers?
No, just flying over and they bust and they drop COVID all over the place.
Yeah, that's not going to work. They're going to wind up killing their own selves.
I just I was like, whatever, and because I hear it's horrible over there right now with COVID. South Koreans are saying they're just wiping people out by the tons. It's just weird to hear them say the alien things at their border gave them COVID. I don't even know what to think about that. That's Kim Jong-un, and I shouldn't pick on them because they listen to the station. Well, at least 5 people in North Korea listen to the station, but I don't know who they are. But,
maybe they meant to say beings and they spelt it wrong. I don't know.
I think they mean like alien things, like is in stuff left behind by the South Koreans. Yeah. I think, I'm not even sure. I mean, it's a weird.
Maybe they're talking about dildos, man. I mean, that definitely sends a message,
It might be. In the end, I don't know what's going on over there, but and then we got the new one that came out. The new COVID warning came out. Now, the CDC isn't saying this, but some other company saying that the worst COVID ever to exist is now out. And can we make our vaccine strong enough?
I just talked about it in the beginning of the show.
Oh, did you? Well, I must not have heard you.
That's the B4 and B5 variants of Omicron that got together. It's going past antibodies, going past your immune system, going past vaccines, and they have no idea how to fight it. Or even most of it's undetectable. So if you have the home test, you get tested, it's not going to detect Omicron. Maybe 90% of the time it won't. So you have to go actually get the PCR, do all that. The government stopped paying for PCR tests. They stopped paying for vaccines. They want people to flip for themselves. And, the people that really are underinsured, they're not going to flip, for these tests every couple of weeks or something. So, and this one's going after your organs. This one's really bad. So,
but they're also pushing for extra testing. It's amazing you mentioned that it's not detectable. I heard a commercial last night or yesterday going into work 2 days ago, and it says, if you feel the symptoms of COVID, get yourself tested fast. What does that mean? Jab the needle in real quick, take the blood. But then it goes on to say, if you get you're proved positive for the test, we now have oral treatments for the COVID. I'm like, okay, if she's hot enough, sure.
For not necessarily for this variance anyway,
Right, yeah,
but
but
now
they're pushing to get people tested. But if you can't detect
right.
it, what the hell does it? What matters it? What
So,
does
so
it
now
this way?
let's look at monkeypox. So remember, Joe, I mentioned this a long time ago, and you know that I worked in COVID-19 surveillance back then.
Mhm.
I mentioned this a long time ago. I said this COVID is going to keep going around, reinfecting people until the immune systems are so low that something else is going to come into play and accelerate because it can. So now you have monkeypox, which has been a pandemic, since 1970 in Africa. All of a sudden, it's here. It came here a few months back. I actually reported on it,
Mm-hmm.
when it happened. So, but now they said it's accelerated, and you're finding in a lot of people that got reinfected with COVID. It's a whole new thing going on, and we need to pay attention to it. But I don't know exactly how to get out of it. Except for people staying away from each other, which they're not going to do. It's already gone on for a couple of
We've
years.
already done that. It proved ineffective with the self quarantining and all that. Nobody
Yeah.
stayed home.
Well, for
Nobody.
the three of us, it's easy because we're so antisocial. To begin,
Well,
not
but
as much Joe. Joe went to California and he got COVID.
But
Yeah,
I worked all the way through it. I work at a major
Thank you,
home
LA.
improvement store. I was in front lines of this COVID thing for the first 2 years. I haven't gotten it, but I saw they would tell people stay home, don't go out unless you absolutely need it. We had people showing up getting mulch. What the hell do you need mulch for in an emergency? If people come up, I mean, I can understand coming to a home improvement store, you need a toilet. Your toilet exploded, fine, get a new toilet. That's okay. But coming for mulch, plants, a screwdriver, things you should already have. People were, I mean, the place was it was like the weekdays were like working weekends at this type of store.
People are stupid, man.
Obviously, but they don't follow rules either.
You know how many people I called as a contact tracer and a case investigator? Case investigator different. You're calling people who already have it. So say they want answers and they want to know everything's gonna be cool. Contact tracer, you call someone, okay, you gotta go. Initially, it was a 14-day quarantine. Yeah, you gotta go in for 14 days. You were contact with this person, and then they're like, I don't believe in COVID, F you, and all this other stuff. There's a lot of pushback, man. So, but then, see, that was the first strain. Then Delta came along when the CDC said, oh, don't worry about Delta. Remember the CDC said, don't worry about COVID to begin with? Renfield said that in March. It's not going to affect America. No issue, no problem. So, and then he's still in there, right? But so then it came down, right? So it used to be, you call someone, they're in quarantine, maybe 15% of them would come down with it, right? Then Delta came in. You call someone, the whole house had it. That was it. If someone didn't have it, they had it 2 days later. This one guy was getting mad at me. My 16-year-old daughter is unto herself in her bedroom. She's the only one in the house that didn't have it. Yeah, do you share the same bathroom? Oh, you do, huh? Do you clean the bathroom, sanitize it after every one of you COVID guys get out of there? And if you breathe in the air, it's aerosolized. You got it. And 2 days later, the guy contacted me because we followed him for 10 days, at that point anyway. And he was like, oh my God, my daughter has it. It's really bad. Yeah. And they were all vaccinated. These people, you run into a lot of that, but at least the vaccinated didn't get it as bad. The ones who weren't
that's what they said. Yeah.
The ones who weren't vaccinated, we're talking about a fast targeting pneumonia that goes right to the bottom of your lungs. It scars your lungs up. Then it transformed into a thing going after your brain, your kidneys, all these other organs. That it's a SARS virus. It's supposed to be a respiratory.
Well, I thought they were going to make the last variant the most deadly, but it's still the first variant. The first one.
See now, and we talked about this too. The last one was more infectious than Delta, and as deadly, but more infectious because it sheds very heavily, this virus. You know what I mean? Now you have the B4 and B5. The first Omicron was the B1, 2, and 3, the three sisters. Now you got the 4 and 5 who have gotten together as a unit, and they're attacking the immune system without. It didn't matter if you're vaccinated. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of antibodies or anything like that. It just goes right for you, and this is a weapon. This is not something that just came about by nature, all natural from a bad,
It's been proven.
Guy.
It's been weaponized. The whole thing's a weapon.
When the whole thing started, I reported on it, man. That was in 2019, late 2019, and I read this story from I read these articles from like South China University or in China, Tiantian, which is a group that follows medical what was going on in the medical field. They kind of put it out there. And when you see it 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, before the Chinese government can get in and edit and take everything out, you know what I mean? Because these people are putting out the real information. I saw how there was a scientist who was bitten by a bat at the Wuhan lab. He went and shopped at that wet market. He went home. He got sick. He made 12 people sick. Those 12 people turned into like 144. And then there was over 450. This all happened in like 3 days. So I was like, oh my God, like what spreads like that? I was alarmed and I was like, whoa, man, because, this is kind of like, it's like my hobby, you might say, infectious diseases, pathogens, because they're fascinating,
It played out like that movie Outbreak. I mean, it was that fast.
China's first death, they say, was on Christmas Eve, was their first death of COVID. But then you saw what happened in Wuhan, and they said 5,000 people died. They ordered 50,000 urns. They had those incinerators, over 40 electric incinerators, plus their crematoriums, rolling 24 hours a day. There's no way.
Oh yeah.
People.
Well, we posted all that though. We almost got in trouble for that because we had 3 people in Wuhan that were out there videotaping the whole time. The first videos we got were of them locking down people's houses so they couldn't get out. The second video we got is them hauling in these incinerators. The third one we got was people being thrown in. And there's a couple of bags, I swear, it looked like they were moving. We still have all of the files. Plus, we had literally, I think we had over 10,000 pictures they took in 11 different Chinese cities of them walking around, smoking out this shit all over the place, doing all kinds. We had a couple of people from the main media ask me about them. I said, look, I'm more than willing to sell them to y'all. And then, I don't know, everybody lost interest for some reason, which was kind of weird. Because they're all authentic pictures and you can be authenticated to the person.
People were being punished if you talked about COVID or vaccines or anything. You can't say even social media.
The FDA said the new shots for fall have to be updated for the Omicron or don't bother with them. So they're already telling you they have to be updated for Omicron, but they're still giving the very first strain. It was the most deadly and the worst strain. They're still saying it's the worst. So one of these others sooner or later will pass it up. It's just a matter of time. But
so the vaccines, I'm actually a vaccine ambassador. I took the Johns Hopkins course not because my job asked for it, but because I wanted to know myself. You know what I mean? So I kind of did it on my own. But the vaccines basically train your immune system to look out for the protein spikes that are on the cells. Normally that our immune system wouldn't recognize them. So when you do get hit and the infection starts, you don't want to be 3 or 4 days down the road with COVID-19 because it's such a fast targeting type of thing.
Yeah.
So when your immune system is already, it's like taking them to school. You got to look out for this, all points bulletin, and here it comes. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
They need to stay in step with the vaccines to the version of Omicron that's there, or not just Omicron, anything, you know what I mean? Like any of the COVID variants, but this Omicron B4 and B5, again, it takes 6 months to 2 years before you can really come out with something that's reliable. I mean, they're on the fast pace, but as long as you can get to the point where you don't die, like you don't drown in your own fluids type of thing, that's what it is. But I just met a lot of people that lost their children, they lost their mothers and whatever to COVID. It's like, and they weren't vaccinated. You know what I mean? And I don't want to preach vaccines, but you know what it is. People don't trust the government. People don't trust pharmaceutical companies. It's a hard sell to say you got to get this. And I've talked to a lot of people that were infected, that didn't have the vaccine, that were asymptomatic, but it's the individual. You don't want to be that individual that will get it and then boom, you're on some respirator. My good friend, he Hunter Fisher, the guy is always out there doing stuff, very healthy, always swinging the hammer on his house and that type of thing. Not vaccinated, got COVID, ended up in the hospital for 15 days with tubes coming out of him. That's how severe and heavy it is. So, it's a war, man. And now
yeah, you're going to love this.
We predicted this a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this a lot.
This thing was going to become super deadly, and then people aren't going to know what the hell to do.
Y'all going to love this. Michael particularly going to love this. So there's, 24 million people in Florida, 74,000 new cases in Florida. There's 1.4 billion people in China. China's only had 268 new cases.
Oh,
isn't that
bull.
That's bull. They have 8 provinces right now locked down because of COVID.
I know.
They don't tell you that, but 8 provinces. I think they only have like 17 or something. I mean, that's you're talking about nearly half. I don't know, dude. You know, their lies never change, do they?
So it doesn't matter what country. No, the lies never change.
Everybody lies. Everybody lies. Every human lies. I lie. I love to lie, man. You know what I mean? If you've ever dated anybody, you have to lie. If you don't lie to the woman that you love, you don't deserve her.
Craig, the news I was talking about, the Florida cases and the FDA thing are both on NBC News, so you can catch them there. Yeah, so that's what they're talking about. How many new cases are in Florida and are in different places in the country, and then they're talking about the FDA says that the new vaccine has to be updated for Omicron.
Can I ask a dumb question? What happened to Fauci?
He's dead.
I mean, he got COVID.
He died.
We haven't heard from him for weeks.
He died.
Did he?
He's dead. He's dead. No, I don't know. I'm just teasing.
You told me Kamala Harris.
He's dead in the media anyway.
You told me Kamala Harris was a prostitute, man. I actually had to look that up.
No, she was a call girl, actually. That's what she actually was, a call girl.
You know, you call her and she laugh at you like it was.
No, seriously. She was a high price call girl. People can deny it all they want, but there's lots of stuff in LA to prove it. Ryan Kelly. Now this proves what I was talking about earlier beyond any doubt. Ryan Kelly was arrested for his role in January 6th. Now he's the front runner in the Michigan GOP primary. And he's not the only one. A couple of them have been arrested. The two in Arizona, they just arrested and suspended. Their numbers jumped. So I tried to explain this to my liberal friends. All this was going to do was get the GOP party running. So instead of having a lackluster GOP come November, the whole party's going to step out, especially now with Roe versus Wade and the Jan 6 thing. Every GOP is going to come out. A good bunch of independents already said they're going to vote Republican, and a bunch of Democrats said, I don't know, guys. I don't think Roe's going to help y'all.
And
I know
now
y'all
social
think it
media,
is.
like, you know, you got Elon and Twitter, social media starting to flip and become more even-minded for people. I went back on Twitter and it was just a bunch of twats yakking at each other. I don't need that in my life, you know, so I left again. There's nothing there, but I mean, people do converse on there, and I don't know. All these girls like hit me up who are like OnlyFans. they want my money for I gotta see them naked. It's so stupid, you know. And it's like Facebook will allow a ton of that, right? It's all these OnlyFan, you know, they're being paid. But I got restricted for putting some stupid. I put an ad up a long time ago, 2 years ago. They restricted me for 30 something days. I contested. And they said, okay, it wasn't against their guidelines, so everything's cool. I reposted the same ad. They restricted me for 54 days now. It was because they said it was against their community. You know, I mean, I have written statements, flip-flop. It's against their community standards. It's not against their communities. It is against their community standards. And now I can't contest it. So you know, I only have a few people on there on Facebook. I don't really do a lot of stuff on there, but I'm getting sick of it. A lot of people are getting sick of it. It's persecution, man, because it's conservative voice. They don't like conservative speech at all. Period.
I've heard the same thing from other people, and I'm not sure that that's controlled by a human. It may actually be an AI algorithm that just flags things arbitrarily without really.
It's what they put in motion. So I mean, Facebook's. It's in a 2-year decline on their stock. They came in high with an initial purchase offer, but they're declining. It's going down like a rock. You know,
sure.
People are leaving. Young people don't use Facebook. They use Snapchat, other stuff. You know, other crap that they're on, but they really shy away from the whole Facebook. So then you have a group of people my age
young people don't shy. What are you on crack?
Who are feeling alienated. Against it, you know, and you realize it's hackers, it's these crappy OnlyFan ads, it's just all this crap. What is you know, and then you can't say what's on your mind because they're going to restrict you. So you know that's malice, and there's a lot of things attached to that. They're persecuting people for it was and it was a you know, remember when Trump said you can inject yourself with Clorox and you do it all right. So the ad was like one of those funny things like you'd find in Mad Magazine or anything about Clorox chewable tablets, you know, and that's what it was. It was something stupid, but they restricted me because they fact checked stuff I posted from The Simpsons. You know, that had The Simpsons predict the future, right? And I'd put up these things that are happening now. They suspended me for that.
Yeah, because you're a bad boy.
Saying that
because you're a bad boy.
Dude, they fact-checked Socrates. Freaking Socrates. In a quote. So
Let,
these people, they're crazy. They're messed up.
yeah, let me give the Vegas line. I want to give the Vegas line because everybody's been asking
All
me
right,
about
what's the Vegas line?
How the Democrats have increased. Well, that is true. So thanks to Roe versus Wade, the Democrats went from 22% to 40%, and the Republicans went from 78% to 62%. So the probability that the Republicans will win a landslide in November is 62% versus the 40. But since this has happened, so it jumped up to 41% on the day of Roe versus Wade. The next day it went to 42. Then yesterday 41. Today, no, now it's at 36%. It's already dropped 5 points in 2 days. So, guys, again, even Vegas is telling you you're not winning this election. You're just not going to win it. The Republicans
And they
have too
know
good of a
that.
control on
They
this.
know it, and you know what? They don't want to because they're still they would see what they got. They didn't want the Democrats wanted the Democratic president, but they didn't want the House. They didn't want something that was a clean sweep that they had so much control over because then they actually have to work and do things. These people aren't performers; they're not workers. They're complainers. They point the finger. They're cutthroats, but they don't know anything about running anything or doing anything. Trump was a businessman, and he was
Yeah.
anti-establishment. He was able to get in there and say, okay, this is how we're going to run things. This is how you do business. Even when we bombed Syria, they're having that big dinner, and Xi Jinping was sitting next to him. He gets up, excuse me, comes back, wipes his face. He's like, we just bombed the airport in Syria, because they use
What the
chemical
hell is
weapons.
that?
Then he turns to Xi Jinping. He's got like this crazy face on. Trump's like, do you like the chocolate cake? It's great, isn't it? You want another slice? Because that's crazy. You can't mess with. You're like, you can't out crazy, man. Nobody wants to go there. But the Democrats didn't want control. They wanted a clean sweep and make everything easy. They need the Republicans to blame for their own misgivings, and they've always done that.
But see, the country's not into that anymore. That's the problem for the Dems. And the Dems just can't. I told everybody under Obama that they were on their way down. And they were having a hard time with this because, Obama won twice. I said, yes, he did. I said, so let's go over Obama real quick, and that'll bring us where we are today. So Obama won. They took the House, the Senate, and the presidency. So they did get Obamacare done, but they got nothing else done. So immediately they lost the House. And then Obama won the next election, but they lost the House and the Senate. And then
how
the
many
next
seats
election,
they overall in the nation they lost like over 1,400.
they lost a lot. They lost a bunch of governors. They lost.
Yeah.
I mean, they were down to just 17 governors. The Democrats, where it was bad, and then they kept losing all the way until Trump won. And then when Trump won, when Trump won, then they got the Senate. They got the House back, and they tied with the Senate. And that was because there was a little cheating going on in Georgia, but that's okay. That'll flip this time. But still, that was barely. I mean, they barely took it, and now they're going to lose it this early. I mean, it's traditional to lose the House in the first midterm. It always is. It almost always happens. And a lot of times you lose the Senate, but it looks like they're going to lose the House and the Senate. And some of the forecasts have them losing the House by up to 76 seats. That's
Wow.
that's a 2/3 majority. They can impeach anybody they want. If they can get just 15 seats in the Senate, I don't even think it's that many, 12 seats in the Senate. They can impeach anybody they want, and nobody can stop them. It's 2/3 majority. They can impeach the president,
I
the
hear
vice
that.
president, Nancy Pelosi, and everybody else. Now, will they do it? If they got 2/3 majority, they'll do it. But I don't think so.
I
I
heard
don't think
Trump
they'll
say
try.
if he gets in again, he'll be his own limousine driver. What do you think of that?
Nah, no, I'm not going to have them stinking secret. Oh yeah, and then now somebody just wrote to CNN and said, "No, stop trying to lie. You already know that the Secret Service people said that's not true." And then now the guy's writing. He wants CNN to apologize because the Secret Service never said that. And they're like, but he said, well, verify it. If that's what you said, verify. He said because other news agencies verified it.
They can't. It's secret information. It's not like a normal situation.
Oh, it's such a bullshit. All that crap is such bullshit.
All that would have to be
Who in
declassified.
the hell? Sorry,
For those
somebody
agents.
just
If those agents said
somebody
anything
just
that happened,
spammed us into next month. Let's see, block user.
whatever
delete
happened to those
user.
agents, they would be arrested and taken to task. You can't do that. They're very strict rules, man.
Well, at least Trump's guys weren't getting arrested for playing in the whorehouses like Obama's was. Under both his presidencies, the Secret Service got in trouble for prostitution rings.
I looked into joining like the FBI, and I realized that they don't take people like me. And then I looked at other services, Secret Service and that type of thing. And they were, first question: "Were you willing to take a bullet for the president?" No, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm running for my own life.
Is that for the current president or?
Then I looked at the Marshal Service because they're awesome, man. United States Marshals, they go after people. It's like a lot of action, man. You know what I mean? Like you're pretty busy and whatever. So, but I didn't do that either, So I did nothing.
Marshal Service is pretty good. If you can get the one where you just fly on the planes and keep the planes safe, that's a good gig.
Marshals are awesome, man. I knew one, like on Long Island. My mom was friends with him, and the guy was just super cool and super smooth, and he got into a lot of cool situations. But I mean, they're doing a great job, So
Oh, look at Hillary out protecting Biden.
you see all the people that they catch. The Marshal Service, even that crazy sheriff, like that deputy who ran off with that dude down there in Alabama, and they finally caught up to them. That was the Marshal Service. They caught up to them, and those both, the woman killed herself, committed suicide, and the guy's back in jail again, so he's back in the same position he was in.
So what's going on here? So Hillary's definitely taking slams reporter for Biden about 2024. What like they care? Putin says them and Belarus are moving towards unification.
I would love to see Hillary run again.
She's thinking of that.
She's thinking about it, man.
She's thinking if Trump. She won't run if Trump runs, but she said she's thinking about it.
The Democrats are going to have to. They're going to have to make a solid decision. I mean, they can't run Biden and they can't run Kamala.
You want me? I'll tell you who their favorite is.
Kamala
who their favorite is?
She will not win.
No, Kamala's not going to win.
No, she has no winnability.
I'm going to tell you who they're going to try to put up is Newsom.
I don't even dislike Kamala. I think that I like a laughing girl. You know what I mean? Like she thinks everything's funny. If you're a comedian, you want people around you who are like that. So yeah, but no, she can't be president. I don't know. I think that she has some abilities, but she just doesn't understand the whole. Either they're not letting her talk or have any power or nothing. You know what I mean? But I hear her talk, and she just says this printed out crapola, and it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound natural, and she just sounds like a corporate salesperson.
No, because basically that's what she is. What do we got here? Let's see. Wait, where did it go? I lost it. Oh, so it shows the U.S. missile system, the mobile missile system they sent to Ukraine. It's one of them badass ones. This thing is badass. They're watching. It's tearing stuff all up over the place.
The MRLS.
So it shows what one of our systems can do to us. Just one. We got hundreds of these things.
And that's the old stuff. That's the old stuff.
Yeah, it is stuff.
But it's rocket artillery, so it has a way further reach. So, like if the Russian artillery shooting at you, they're not even going to come close to the MLRS system, and they shoot multiple rockets. It's really go to YouTube.
Oh, look! Oh, wait a minute! Y'all got to see this video. I wonder if I can play this. Hold on, y'all got to see it.
Under the share.
Y'all got to see this tacky bitch, Nancy Pelosi. Let me see if it'll let me share this. Share screen.
You love Nancy. You see her saying she's so cute.
I do love me some Nancy, man. Is this the right one? Yes, this is it.
You see her give the elbow.
Okay, now why? Yeah, this is it. This is the video.
Yeah, look at her with the elbow.
Look.
I don't think
she just pushes that kid over, man.
Man, I'm going to say it. I don't think that she likes Latino people. I think
I don't either. I think she got nasty with it. Look,
she
pushed. And look at that face she makes. Look at that face she makes.
Yeah,
and you see the kid push right back. Kid didn't give a shit.
If they were white kids, do you think she would have done the same thing?
No, she wouldn't have. No.
And they're saying it was for her.
She may be anti-kid. She might have done to anyone kid.
Yeah,
black, white, Asian.
For her to protect herself. I don't know. I think she has a problem with that. I think that
she does.
I know a lot of people from California who are like racist against like Chicanos and people like that and whatever. And it's terrible, man, but they have this thing. It's like a push and pull. Like we don't have that in New York. Believe it or not, in New York, we have a lot of harmony, basically, if you want to call it that. You don't have the anger that exists in some other states like California, between the groups.
So liberals got some crazy court ruling coming up. U.S. court ruling may take 70,000 truckers off the road.
And in New York, we have the best bagels.
Oh my God! Do you know what happens if 70,000 truckers come off the road? There'll be a revolution in this country.
Well, don't you know that Mexican truck drivers can drive all the hell the way through the country now? You know, even with trucks that aren't inspected for American roads, that's like a you know, that's going to become a huge thing because
it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, I mean, inexperienced drivers with crap equipment on the highways. You know, it used to be they could go 400 miles from the border. Now they've made it where they can make their way through pretty much anywhere. So, and that's just going to hurt. It's going to hurt American truck drivers. Is what it's going to do. You know. But
let's see.
That's how we get our stuff, man. Although
So
I live in a very self-contained area, agricultural. You know, a lot of farms and all that. So it's good to be around, man.
Yeah, I got that here too. But, you know, still, there's things that you can't get here that have to be trucked in.
Like your weed.
Yeah.
They don't grow that in Brattleboro or whatever the hell it is.
There's probably some groweries here too, but I haven't really looked into them. I know West Virginia is one of the biggest suppliers on this side of the country for the dispensaries. I don't know. There's a lot of farms in Pennsylvania, but they're mostly Amish and Dutch Mennonite. Yeah. And I guarantee you, they're not growing weed.
The Amish, man, they're pretty diverse in what they grow. They might, you know, it depends on how they view it. But you know, if it's not going to get them busted, I think that, you know, the Amish like to make money, you know.
Yeah, and anything they make is expensive as hell anyway.
Yeah, it's not even good. It's not even good.
Hey, have y'all heard any people calling for Clarence Thomas to be impeached? No. This comes from Glamour, no less. Why people are calling for Congress to impeach Clarence Thomas? Nobody's calling for that, and nobody would even think they could do it. You're not even going to get all the Democrats to vote for that.
I was in Gettysburg a couple months ago, man. How far are you from Gettysburg?
About half an hour.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I was there. I was in Lancaster first. I was doing the reminiscing thing, you know, and because it's been like 40 years since I've been there, and then went to Gettysburg. Gettysburg was fun. It was cool, man. I rented a cabin. It was nice. You know, it was before any tourists were in there. It was kind of early, but I drove through. You know, I got some cool pictures. Didn't see anything like no ghosts, nothing cool. You know, just other tourists.
Part of the country over here.
Beautiful country. It's if anybody's ever been in that area, it's so beautiful. The rolling hills and just the nature, man, and you know, just beautiful. Got the Susquehanna that cuts through there too. You know, and I've got that too in New York, Susquehanna.
Mm-hmm. But it's a huge river. I mean, it comes all the way from like Ohio across most of New York, and back down through Pennsylvania. Yeah,
just beautiful sights, man. Anybody that's listening, go to Gettysburg, go check it out. Lancaster, don't bother. I went to the train museum. That's just, you know, just outside of Lancaster. That was my mission, because I'm making these coffee table books of trains. So I'm going to these different places. You know, so I've been to one Scranton, and I've been to one Strasburg. Awesome, man. If you like trains, Strasburg, oh my God, that place is just so many and pristine condition and nice history, a lot of fun, you know. No, for $10 to get in there, that was pretty cool.
So wait, real quick. So this is what we were talking about earlier, and this is another reason why the Dems are going to get their asses cremated. So this guy here is a Democrat that we're talking about, pro-life Democrat Henry Culler, is blasted by AOC's criticism, or blasts AOC over the criticism of his abortion stance. Most people don't realize, but almost a third of Democrats are pro-life. Maybe even a little more.
She's a puppet. She's a parrot.
But it doesn't matter. So
she echoes what her handlers tell her. You know, she has no original thought. Nothing.
The people who vote for this guy are not going to vote Democrat this time. They're going to vote Republican.
I think that they're going to vote to get Democrats out, and however they have to do it, they're going to do it. You know, because people have had enough. It's not just hitting.
They've had enough. Yeah, it's bad.
There's a crisis in every area. There's not one area where there's no crisis. And for Joe Biden to come out saying the economy is strong, he's out of his mind.
He's out of his mind. I think people have seen the fact that, you know, as soon as he got into office, he started turning off all those things that Trump did to get the economy going. And they, you know, 5-6 months later, we're at where we are now because of Biden. It isn't any other reason. It isn't because somebody voted this way or that way. It's because he stopped the things that Trump did to get our economy going strictly because he didn't like Trump. not because they were good for the economy, but because he didn't like Trump.
Yep. It was all anti-Trump. That was their whole deal.
Absolutely.
That was their whole deal. That was definitely their whole deal.
Because he's anti-establishment, so they, of course, that he's their natural enemy, not just a Republican. Because he wasn't really a Republican, was he? Trump was more Trump.
Yeah.
He used the Republican Party to get where he's going, but I don't consider him a really hardcore conservative. I think he's kind of middle of the road.
He did what he had to do. If he had run independently, I don't think he would have won. If he didn't have the backing of the Republican Party, he probably wouldn't have won if we'd have had Clinton instead.
He's given money to Democrats in the past, and he's supported Democrats. So I mean, he was a mixed bag, but I think that he sees things for how he sees things. But his abrasiveness is what brought all that on. And then he went down into the trenches with these jerks that he had no business going down there. He needed to elevate himself, and he had a good chance to unite the country by going the opposite direction.
Trump never had a chance to unite the country.
If he didn't engage in that negative rhetoric and he kind of just stayed on the path like Gandhi.
But Mike, you forget. Now you forget his first 7 months. He wasn't. The media was. All Trump was doing was responding to the media. In the beginning, he wasn't being hateful at all.
That's what I'm saying. He should.
But you have to. You cannot not respond to media. You'll just lose.
When they asked Bill Clinton if he had sex with Monica Lewinsky, he should have, instead of lies, saying, "My personal life is none of your goddamn business." Bye. Period. End of sentence. You didn't have to lie. You could have just went off in another direction.
Technically, he didn't lie, though. I mean,
he didn't. He still has.
Considered sexual intercourse. It's considered sodomy by the federal government.
Sexual relations, if you want to get technical, tell your wife that you had sexual relations with some girl and see how far it goes.
But that's the thing.
It's all under perception, but as far as the federal law is concerned, sexual relations is sexual intercourse. It's not a blowjob.
It's lawyerable, but most other leaders in other countries have several wives, and they got the consorts and this and that and whatever, and they kind of look at us like ha ha ha, because of how these people are. Clinton was a womanizer. He had very charismatic. Presidents usually are, because they want someone who's going to sell.
JFK did it.
They want someone who's going to sell to people. Oh yeah, JFK, his brother, the whole bit. I mean, all the way through. Some of them would even Bush Senior was grabbing women's asses out there, or grabbing
Bush,
between
their legs. They
told
people,
don't get next to him for a photo, even when he was in a wheelchair. Don't get next to him for a photo.
He get a quickie.
If what happened with Marilyn Monroe and the Kennedy brothers and the men in Hollywood, if they were to pass around a famous actress like they did, they passed her around like a party favor in the 50s. If they were to do that right now, there'd be 50 to 1,000 men going to prison right now for sexual harassment and other types of sexual crimes.
You want to know the truth? You want to know the truth and what happened? I don't know if we can say this, man, but I know the truth. I know the truth on a couple of things. I know where Jimmy Hoffa's buried also, man. But I'll tell you what happened. Marilyn Monroe was also seeing Sam Giancana, who was a huge mobster, right?
Yep.
So when she was in bed with Kennedy, Kennedy told her all the secret stuff about the Bay of Pigs and all that going on. And then she told Sam Giancana when he was trying to blackmail using that. All of a sudden, everybody is dead. And any guy that slept with her after Kennedy had all died. I think Joe DiMaggio was the only dude, but he was before. You know what I mean? I think maybe just two men survived. So that's the CIA going and knocking all these people down, in my opinion anyway, because they thought these national secrets were out. And national secrets were more important than the president. He's a temporary employee. You know what I mean? And she was some actress. It didn't matter to them at the time. It mattered that Bay of Pigs was a huge deal. With missiles pointed at the U.S., endangering millions of people's lives. And here's Kennedy in bed, being some jerk, sleeping with her. Not just her, other women too. But that's a huge story. You want to know where Jimmy Hoffa's buried?
Yeah, because I know where he is. He wasn't buried, but I know where he is. Let's hear where you think he is.
Jimmy Hoffa is buried on the 50-yard line in Giant Stadium, and
that's a myth.
The guy that had him buried there wanted to laugh every time that the football got together and they were on the 50-yard line. He got to say, "There's that bastard Jimmy Hoffa, F him," That's the story. And I heard that story in a bar between two mobster guys talking to each other, and they were laughing about it. But some people said that they dumped him in Jersey, close to the Meadowlands, because they were just building
He's not anywhere near New Jersey or New York. You know what happened to him?
What happened?
So my family, it was in Ohio. They've been in the trucking company since 1904. My namesake and great grandfather bought a buckboard, 2 buckboards, and 4 horses with money he borrowed from his mom. Started a trucking company. So I think this is the correct story. What happened is once they kidnapped him and took him to Cincinnati and killed him, they took him to the Cincinnati Purina dog food plant and dropped him into the meat grinders and turned him into dog food.
That's an old myth, but I'm telling you, he was on the 50-yard line. But you know what's interesting? It wasn't a mafia hit because the mafia needed him. He was a liaison with the Teamsters. The mafia needed him. It was Kennedy. It was his brother. Even in the meeting, Robert Kennedy, who was like, "We're going to get that Jimmy Hoffa. Doesn't matter how we're going to get him. We're going to get him, and he's going to be gone." He actually said that. I mean, you can find it on YouTube.
Part of the reason why they think he was killed was because he was going to reveal the secrets of how the Kennedys got their money, and that was through Joe selling rum illegally.
Hey, I wasn't doing nothing in a con, man. You better knock that shit off using my name.
The last time they saw him alive, he was getting in a car.
Not Joe Montaldo, Joe
Hey,
Kennedy.
I heard what you said, bro. I was listening to you. But, no, we got to go.
The last time they saw Jimmy Hoffa alive, he got into a car with one mafia guy and a couple of guys that were known to be CIA guys.
Yeah, like,
and that was it. They never saw him again.
When I was time traveling, I used to have some old rock gut with Jim. He was all right. But anyway, we got to go, guys and girls. Be sure to tune in next week for the Centralist. We'll be talking about all kind of good stuff. Look, if you have a favorite topic, if there's something you want us to talk about, send it to us. We don't mind. Right now, we're just keeping up with the news. We got through, I don't know, a dozen news stories tonight. So all good stuff. You can go read for yourself and check it out. Some of we had opinions about, some of we didn't, some of it was just news. But
we were all over the road like a drunk driver.
Yeah,
we were, but there was lots of good stuff in there. That's the thing. So pay attention when you're listening to us tonight, because there's lots of good stuff in between what us just chit chat, because we like to play while we're talking. So there's lots of good stuff in there. Go listen to it. Tell me what you think. Be sure to. Oh yeah, somebody's already telling me what they think. That's nice. Sorry, but be sure to tune in next Friday and listen. And remember, you're going to hear these promos in just a minute. They're going to all start playing again. Go out and vote. Be nice. Vote for us to win. Michael and Jay said they'd like to have that big trophy behind their head when they're broadcast and say, "Ha! I won for news, baby." Look, you know, even on our worst day, we're still better than NBC, ABC, CBS, or Fox. I mean, come on. And I'm not hating on any of them because they're all just, trying to make money and get ratings. But look, we're just reporting the news for them.
None of that alphabet soup news here.
Yeah, but anyway, Michael, tell them where they can find you right quick before we get out of here.
Find me every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Discovery Paranormal, and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Red Pill News, and of course, at 10 p.m. Eastern here on the Centralist.
I hear, and I'm not going to say who it is yet, but I do hear there will be a new show in front of you on Tuesdays now, so it ought to be interesting. Pretty big show for that too, so it ought to be interesting to see this new lady come on the network. Jay, tell them where they can find you at. Jay likes to harass Jeffrey.
Every other 3 Fridays, you can catch me on the Church of Mavis Radio with Jeff Pritchett, and we do all kinds of stuff on UFOs, Bigfoot, shamanism, alternate healing, all kinds of neat stuff.
Yes, and I'm on here Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and every other Saturday. You can find me doing something or another on one of the shows on the network. And, of course, don't forget all of our other lineups. On that note, we're going to get out of here. Y'all pay attention to these commercials. And we'll all see you in this upcoming week. And have a safe, happy, fun 4th of freaking July.
Yeah, be safe out there.
Happy Canuck Day or Happy Canadian Day. Sorry.
That too. If you see something weird, report it, man. That's what I say.
Yes. Really, Mike's right, too. If you see some stupid, crazy anything going on out there, report it, because you never know what you're going to find out this Halloween. Jesus. We know where my brain's at. This 4th of
Halloween.
July. I know.
I love Halloween.
I do too, but I'm a little ahead of myself here, man. Just a little couple of months ahead here. But anyway, y'all go out and enjoy 4th of July. Don't blow off no fingers or anything like that. And really,
fingers,
if you see
toes,
anything,
other anything. Don't blow.
And remember, if you see crazy stuff that you want to report, like the news to us, you can send it to us, because I'm gonna start doing every other day. I'm gonna start doing like a little 15-minute quick news break for the station for the different shows. But anyway, on that note, good night, and we will see you, like I said, this coming week. Dun, 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 dun.
All right, everybody, it is that time of year again. It's time for you to get out and nominate for your favorite podcast. The show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards is The Centralist in the category of politics and news. The Centralist is a much different news and political program which is not deemed as opinion news. Listen as Joe Montaldo brings you just the facts from trusted sources, which will allow you to make up your own minds on the various stories being reported on. So go to podcastawards.com to nominate The Centralist in the category of politics and news. And that's podcastawards.com. Take a moment, go and vote, and as Joe would say, come on guys, vote, vote, get out there, vote. What you waiting for?
He has no personality. Are you back?
Somebody's back.
It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. The show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards is The Outer Realm. And that's in the category of Best Female Hosted Podcast. The Outer Realm is a popular show hosted by Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, which has millions of listeners each week. They are well known for their laid-back, roundtable style of interviewing. Together, this dynamic duo brings you the best of the best with guests from around the world who are well-versed within their respective fields of ufology, paranormal, cryptozoology, folklore, and anything else that would be deemed outside the realm of normal. Michelle is an international public figure who has spent the last 2 decades working in the international paranormal community, in research and media. Amelia is a remote viewing medium with 10 years of working with missing children, as well as cold and active murder cases. So go to podcastawards.com to nominate The Outer Realm in the category of Best Female Hosted Podcast. That's podcastawards.com. It's super easy. So just please, it's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. There's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards, UFO Undercover, in the category of entertainment. This show brings you some of the most revealing and current research that is being done with respect to alien abductions and contact. Host Joe Montaldo has been an abduction researcher for over 35 years and is uniquely qualified to bring you live interviews with some of the most well-known researchers in ufology. So go to podcastawards.com and nominate UFO Undercover in the category of entertainment. That's podcastawards.com. So take a moment, get out and vote. Yes, it's that time of year again. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. So there's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. You've been hearing it for years now. It's the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in 3 categories: education, storyteller drama, and art. So this show is based on the world-famous Writers of the Future contest created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard and provides advice and tips from contest judges, international best-selling authors, world-class artists, contest winners, and industry professionals for writers and illustrators wanting to take their next step. So go to podcastawards.com and nominate the Writers and Illustrators of Future podcast in all 3 categories. That was education, storyteller drama, and art. And that's podcastawards.com. So take a moment and get your votes in.